we get a couple views, and then sometimes I'll post them to YouTube and stuff. And so, so it's a good thing to share at least. So, hello to anyone that does end up watching this. What's up? What's up? And as usual, we'll be doing some safety tools and stuff here. And unless, not to give away too much of the story here, but unless you're like a burn victim, I mean, and honestly, I wouldn't know. Then I think you should be okay with everything here. And I know that's just an odd chance, which I would hate to trigger someone that has suffered that, honestly. So, I mean, let me know, I guess, but hopefully not. I really hope not. No burn victims? Okay.
Well, so tell me, do you have a DCI number?
Huh?
Your DM, do you have a DCI number?
Oh, no, I never really did. It seemed like they kind of did away with that, so I didn't quite ever really bother.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, hopefully I don't turn around and start wanting that later on. I'll be like, oh, let me get that real quick. Oops. But cool. So thanks, guys, for being here. Just, of course, gotta get those couple things out of the way. And to set the scene, as I had mentioned earlier, we're going to be in Mulemaster, and the nobles here have recently begun to publicly compete in displays of wealth through art. And it's a pretty unexpected scene in the otherwise serious and practical population here. Most of it will be kind of flattering portrayals or just ostentatious use of materials to make these things. But recently it's starting to take on more political overtones, and even the Blades, Mulemaster's ruling council, are growing a bit wary over the radical works, and they conspire to collect them before their rivals. For their personal collections even? Sometimes you wonder. But at the same time, they've begun employing the Hawks, the devious intelligence-gathering agents of the soldiery, to stamp out these works. And much like for a lot of us in the U.S. and other places too, apparently all over the world, it's been a bit of a heat wave here, a very oppressive, punishing drought. The entire city's already a bit on edge, emotions flaring all over. The little scuffles that would be a normal thing to deal with have started erupting into some actual violence that has to be put down before full-blown riots would come out. The stench of the baking city and the underlying fear of food shortages, it stirs the anger and resentment here among the commoners. And there's really worries and rumors of these inevitable riots and the violent response that will swiftly come from the city watch they know. But you find yourselves here looking for your own treasure, or perhaps a break, or just a little fun, and you catch wind of a bit of a soiree happening here at a semi-famous bar called the Wave and Wink. It's up and coming, and the cool thing about tonight is this loaded guy has kind of paid out the place. There's no charge like normal, so it seems like the commoners really know better than to waltz on in, but you guys are not simple commoners, and who's going to turn down a free trip into this place? Have a little fun, check it out. You may have your own reasons. You can most certainly let me know as we will enter the party. Yeah, so you may just be a party crasher here, or if you have a noble background, that might come into play, so let me know if you do, just as far as more of a reason why you might be here. And that would be a good time to do some character introductions as well, as you all find yourselves in front of the Wave and Wink. Like I said, it's a popular bar and dance hall frequented by those with a small sum of disposable income, at least, and some wealthy folk in search of rowdy times. The building's pretty simple stone and mortar, but definitely shows off the outside where it's painted in shades of blue that show off a repeating wave motif. It's one of the few structures here, actually, in Mulemaster that goes beyond the red and gray bricks of stonework. It's pretty bright here, and you hear the cheery voices raising in celebration beyond the doors, and the patrons ahead of you are filing through these large blue doors dressed in brightly colored finery. And each time it opens, you can hear those light tones of music and the raucous laughter from within, kind of piercing the dullness of the otherwise dour city around you. Somewhat by happenstance, you find yourselves looking at a couple fellows, probably with a similar mindset to yourselves. All three of you most definitely out of place as people dressed to the nines kind of push past you to get in and have a good time. And so we'll start with by token order here. If Vilasa, you want to tell us about yourself and kind of just what do you think you'd be doing here?
Well, you see a dwarven, relatively strong dwarven with nicely, well, he's relatively poorly adorned actually. He looks over to us. Hey, my friends! I heard there's a party going on here, and also that they've got some art collections as well as the works of great sculpting and such. You know, I helped my guild quite a bit to procure some of the best works. Also, I've made some myself, so I'm gonna appraise them and see how it goes. Also, free drinks. Why would you give it up? In any case, if we run into any kind of trouble, I can talk a bit, but mostly I do the hitting and slashing. Very good with my hands on that in that sort of stuff. So nice to meet both of you. That's Will, so level 2 barbarian.
Awesome. You better have the time of your life, man. How often are the drinks free? And especially not in this tough city. All right. How about you, Oddvar? The same question as well. What do you think would lead you to be crashing the party here at the Wave and the Wink?
Hi, everybody. My character's name is Oddvar. What you see before you is a 6'4" topaz dragonborn. That means I have resistance to necrotic, and my dragon breath would be necrotic. He carries, he's wearing chainmail, carries a shield and a longsword. He is a 4th level Eldritch Knight, and he has a Hill Giant belt. So yeah, I will be crushing some foes, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to bash some heads and set the order straight.
Ready to put that strength to use. Okay, last but most certainly not least, Valeros.
Yeah, sorry, had a cough, but hello. I'm playing Valeros, and you all see about an average height man, around maybe 5'9", 5'10", around thereabouts. He's a human man, got a shoulder-length black hair, and he is done up in splint mail and seems to have two long swords that he has at his side at all times. And he just sort of kind of gives the two of you a crooked grin. So I take it we're all here for the free booze, huh? It's Mole Master. We gotta party when we can.
Yeah, not been paying so well nowadays. Free party, free drinks, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the artisans stuff. I know how to make my own weapons. That's about all I got. And mechanically, he is a level 4 battle master fighter. And similar to Oddvar, he does not have a belt of Hill Giant strength, but he does have gauntlets of ogre power. So we seem to be a very front-loaded for strength party here doing this work.
Hey,
Get wasted.
I like your gauntlets, the same as mine.
Excellent.
I love it. Alrighty. And as I guess you guys want to start making your way here, there's a pair of kind of thuggish individuals guarding the place outdoors, but more so just keeping an eye out for any shenanigans. And you're able to pass into the foyer of this place if you so choose. And that'll be, I know we kind of might be a jump on the map over here for you, but to the bottom left, if you want to...
Oh, is that this over here?
Yep, this is the front door here. I know this looks like a stream,
Gotcha.
if you ask me.
Yeah, I thought I was going to reverse.
So if you guys don't mind swimming on over here.
Well, we're all strong and swimming strength based, so it's...
That's a specialty of the Wave and the Wink. You know, it's right off the river there. You just swim right up.
Because women.
And Tritons love it.
And Valor shakes all the water off of him.
I'm gonna bump you over here, Oddvar. Alrighty, and as you guys pass in, you kind of follow in with a small throng of revelers, and making their way past those two burly doormen who really just politely nod to you. And you step into the surprising warmth of the building. A few of the numbers of the folk around you shed their heavy fur-trimmed coats and pass them with a few coins across the counter to an attendant in an alcove here to the left that I'll show you in just a moment. And then further ahead, deeper in, you see a crowd of patrons gathered around an L-shaped bar, at times 3 deep, as several bartenders see to their needs. And from around the corner to the right, you hear the rhythmic stamp of feet in time to an upbeat jig, and punctuated by excited hoops of laughter. So let me reveal a bit as you guys can begin to explore this place. And so that number 2 there is kind of like a cloakroom where people are depositing their coats and things. And then you see the main bar up there ahead, and as you come up, I'll go ahead and reveal where you can see deeper into the Wave and the Wink. It seems to be more of a dance hall here beyond you, and here in the center is a raised platform that's a bit of a performer stage, and sure enough, you can see seems to be a half-elf by the look, an entertainer up there, and accompanying musicians seem to be playing all kinds of songs. You notice as you start to spend your few moments here. This singer in particular seems to be well versed in all different kind of cultural songs and things, so the people love it. He's pleasing every single person. Seems to be a handsome fellow, and head's getting larger by the second. Beyond him, you see a staircase that goes up, and a bit of a raised platform there. I guess I can show some of that, where you can see it's a bit of a private balcony. You could get a closer look if you want to mosey on over that way at some point. And there's the stairs here. And what you can kind of see up in here is that it seems to go, you can see a lot of employees coming up and out of this area here. There's a second bar and like a hallway, and it kind of leads down where you can assume some beyond you, in front of you, is more like employee areas. And so at this point, you guys can kind of go and do whatever you want.
There aren't any tables in the fall period.
Oh no, people are just dancing and going crazy right there. You could have to not really push yourself through too hard, but you know, it might be a little like, "Oop, excuse me, didn't mean to step on your toe," a little drink spilled here and there. Hey. But if you guys want to start at the bar right there, we can surely do that too.
Hey,
Valorous wants to see these
I'll
free
grab a
drinks
mug.
offering.
I've got
Sure.
Miguel.
nice. Well, I mean, weed's my thing, but I guess it looks fine.
So as you pass by the main bar, you really do have to kind of push your way through here as people are kind of crowding around. There's 2 bartenders here, and they're quite efficient and fast at what they're doing, but even despite that, it takes a second. The free drinks here, are part of one Zorgos's celebration, but there's a little tipping jar if you want to throw a coin in there, at your discretion, of course. But it seems like even though a lot of people here are pleased to be drinking for free, you don't see a lot of people that seem to be like severely intoxicated or that, are imbibing to excess. But you guys are sure welcome to have your way with the open bar over here.
The last I went to the floor to start dancing once you got ill. Hey,
Yeah, dude.
I've heard this before.
Ooh, the
It's
vibe's
pretty
pumping.
lit.
So the biggest draw here is clearly this large dance hall, and between the dances, the revelers are kind of mingle and chatting. The atmosphere is pretty nice. You got that freely flowing alcohol. A lot of these mole masterites are kind of finally letting their guard down a bit. You see this pretty dwarven lass from across the way who looks like she's never seen a day of adventuring in her life. But oh man, she starts sidling over to you, starts backing it up wordlessly. Go ahead and make me a persuasion check real quick.
Real Hassan?
Yeah, as someone kind of approaches you and make your way on the dance floor.
Nope. Should be the same rules.
She starts kind of getting close to you, and she's kind of dancing you for a few moments before the music kind of winds down, and she turns and she's like, "Wow, you're actually pretty good at that. I've never danced with anyone so amazing as you. You should think about joining the performance here. Have you had time to go and look at the painting up there? Only the finest can go look at it, but with those moves, you gotta be able to just waltz in there." She kind of indicates up the staircase, where you see some people kind of go up and view like a painting of sorts and come around. You can maybe barely make out a little bit of it from where you're at. It'd be like up in here.
Oh, hi. There. That's where the art is. Oh, I'd definitely do that. Thank you, fine lady.
Oh, you come back and see me, boy. You got a place to stay tonight. You can see a glazed look in her eyes. She's probably had a few drinks. Best not to take advantage as you watch her wander off back into the sea. Just another fish. Anyways, you snap out of your revelry as there's more things to get your attention here, of course. And
go to the two friends that I came in with. I'm like, guys, there's like some artwork up there. I know you said you're not that interested, but I'm gonna go up there, alright? And go check it out.
Have
What
fun.
the heck? Why not? I will follow you, actually.
Is there access through here, or is it just employee only?
And it seems like, despite what people are saying, nothing here is really guarded strictly. There doesn't really seem to be anyone there kind of blocking the way, but it's almost like the people of different stations know better than to come up here. So as you make your way up into this private balcony, you see you pass by its very own bar there, of course, and it kind of offers a seating for patrons that are getting too worn out from that's working from below to get some place to talk in a slightly quieter area as well. But tonight it's been reserved by one Fulton Goss. He and his wife Tiega Goss are up here mingling with their personally invited guests. There's a bartender there assisted by a woman. They're kind of seeing to the needs of the nobles up here. Gets a little nicer as the wooden railing there is kind of stylized with the nice wave pattern and kind of separates you from the dance floor 10 feet below. And you see well-dressed revelers ringing some tall round tables around you, and mostly close to the railing as they get a nice fine view of below. The second bar there is attended by a gray-haired gentleman, but the woman there is smiling. She's in a red dress. She assists from the other side, and they kind of delicately hand out the drinks and make small talk here and there. The guests here in particular, though, seem to gather around a man and woman in carefully tailored fur-trimmed clothing and admire a painting that they sit next to in an elaborate gilded frame hung near the hearth. And I guess we are up in the private balcony.
What? Sorry, what were these things again? The bar, is it?
So those are kind of some counters, it looks like, by our map key over here.
Oh, okay.
A counter. So you could chill, set your drink up there, and mingle with these nobles. Is any of you a noble or entertainer background?
No, mercenary veteran.
Clan crafter.
I'm an outlander.
Alrighty. And so, just right off the bat, as you kind of pass through here, no one really says anything, but you kind of get a feeling that you getting a few dirty looks whenever you're not looking, like that sixth sense that someone's looking at you, and as soon as you look around, you can't really tell. But and any time you might try to nod or really look someone, they just kind of like look at you a bit disdainfully and look away, as they don't really recognize you guys as much.
Probably not. These city noblish, snobbish people. Yeah. What's this painting anyway?
Okay, and you kind of get the sense that if you have a group persuasion check and it's successful, you might be able to kind of convince these guys otherwise of your status, and that's just kind of how that'll work if you guys want to attempt that. Then you could more probably mingle in and talk to some of these people. And of course, the two nobles are there, and they seem to be like the focal point of everyone here. But anybody's worth talking to, of course.
Hey, some might have a good card.
All right, and so we'll start with just the painting, as you guys kind of focused on that, and then as however you guys would want to phrase it, you can kind of convince them that you're worth their time in that sense. But as you take a quick look at the painting first, you can see that this is a masterful rendering of one Tiega Goss wearing a formal scarlet gown. That seems to be the woman sitting right next to the painting. But in this painting, she has a white fur draping her shoulders, clasped at the neck by a golden brooch. And she stands beside an immense fire that could be a large fireplace or even the edges of a bonfire. Seems as if the painter has truly captured the light of that fire and the details of her figure, from the reflection in her eyes to the gleam on the metal of her brooch. The likeness truly is uncanny, even if it does seem like she may be took off a few age lines or so to please her. You guys can make me a investigation check if you like. See if you can pick up an extra detail here. It's no one proficient with painter tools randomly. No, that's a random one.
Not me.
Nope.
Wasn't a painter in a former life.
I've got a shit ton of other tools, but not painter.
Oh, the one tool you didn't think to get, the painter's tool. Damn it. No, okay. And really, yeah, it seems like a very fine painting. Nothing truly stands out other than the exquisite detail that's put into this woman. And as you see her sitting next to the painting there too, she does seem to be quite attractive.
The lady. This painting of yours, it's magnificent. This, look at the detail, the glow in it. It's truly wonderful. I mean, the art is really brought out the beauty that you can get out of a still image. I think that's worked really well. The colors magnificent. I mean, that brooch is outstanding. And Will was only talking about the brooch that was on her neck and not about her.
She laughs, and despite the age lines that do show, you can see that she's quite a catch in her time, and even still so, and even the look in her eyes shows that despite all this kind of rigid and a bit of snobbish behavior around you, she seems to be very down to earth, as she kind of like gingerly lays a hand on your shoulder and laughs and oh, I could use a lot more fun company like you around here. These people do get a bit stiffy. But I appreciate your guys' interest in this art. It's one of my passions.
Did you draw this yourself?
Oh no, this was actually commissioned for me by my dear, dear husband here. And next to her, you see a man that seems a bit insufferable at best. And he kind of lazily yawns in your direction at his mention, and he's like, "I assure you the pleasure's yours," as he turns back to his friends. And his dark hair is kind of touched by streaks of gray. Kind of seems like his brown eyes ringed with reddish hints give a hint to some late nights drinking, perhaps. And even some of you, more or less, especially our dwarf here, would recognize his hands seem to be no stranger to the labor of forges. And you can see that's probably where his family has gotten this fortune and how they're buying this out. Anywho, she continues and says, actually, this was commissioned here by Fulton, by his nephew, Andric. He's beginning to get quite a bit of fame for himself here. And it was, I mean, look at it, isn't it marvelous? He's got quite a good talent.
Is he a new painter that's coming up, or has he been around for a while?
He is new. He has hardly been around for too long, and he can be a bit eccentric at times, but I guess madness comes with that kind of talent, they say. But we really love him. He's his family to us, and I wish he could be here tonight, but I haven't seen him.
Aye, a party for the artist and the artist doesn't show. That's some dedication to your work.
This party isn't for him. This party is for us.
For you? And your husband?
Indeed. It's our pleasure to host the fine nobles of this city, so we can let our hair down a bit and celebrate this fine painting here of myself and
From a cursory look around, is this the only painting that is here, or are there other works of art?
So this seems to be the main one on display. Anything else that would just be kind of some regular decoration of the wave and the wink.
Oh, okay.
And essentially, these parties that are happening are becoming a little more common, to where it's a sign of affluence, I guess, where they're inviting all these other nobles, like, come, look what we have, and look this painting of myself. It's all very superficial, but here you are in the upper crust of society, and despite all that, this woman at least seems nice enough and more than welcome to have a conversation with you guys. And she.
Well, I mean, either way, his work is here, and wouldn't it be better for your nephew to be here to get more recognition and more commissions for other jobs? I mean, clearly he's brought out some beauty in the painting, so he has the talent.
It's funny that It's funny that you say that. He did seem to be working through a gallery here in town. I've heard of. I'd have to place the name of it. They seem to be featuring a lot of his work. So this is, we'll definitely let people know where we got it. And but he hardly needs our, help getting his name out there for these works. He's starting to gain quite a name around town. But perhaps you should go and see his gallery sometime. I think it's the Ironheart, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, I hope you enjoy your time here in our celebration, and of course, any further discussion of the arts would always be a pleasure of mine.
Oh yes, yeah. Is she wearing the brooch that is on the painting?
One second. So do you want to ask her about this?
I mean, I want to inquire about the brooch, like the particular masterwork and where it was made. But it's yeah, I did want to ask her about it.
Okay. I'm just making sure how I'm gonna phrase it back to you. She's you do certainly have an attention for detail. I'm glad you can admire this work. Actually, since you're asking, the dress there and the fur, I've worn those in the past. But that brooch, no, I don't own no such piece of jewelry as that. It must be his own working. I'll admit too that I never did sit for a portrait. Man, Andric, he's amazing. He just painted this from his memory. Uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely. Well, that's very interesting. Yeah. I mean, he must have quite the memory.
All right, and as you guys are kind of speaking with her, it seems as if this something happens here. All of a sudden, you hear like a glass break over by the bar, and as the scene kind of grows quiet, and the music kind of dulls down a little bit, you feel the moment kind of still as the woman at the bar, who seems to be the co-owner of this fine establishment, she just runs up. She has a tall glass of liquor, potent enough to be smelled even from a distance, and without warning, she just throws it into Tiega's face. One moment she's just smiling and taking in the painting there with you, Vilasa. The next moment she's like looking down, and this strong, pungent alcohol just pouring off of her. A few stray drops splash on a nearby oil lamp and catch, and a heartbeat later, these brilliant flames blossom across whatever these spirits were touching, unfortunately including this Miss Zora Gas, as her title would be. Her screams begin to fill the air, mingling with the wretched smell of burning flesh and hair, right there in your face, Oddbar and Vilasa. Guests begin to panic and scramble away from the flames, while Kata, the one who originally threw the liquor there, she just stares, transfixed by the flames that are beginning to dance over the burning woman next to you and the painting behind her. You hear her voice, barely more than a whisper, over the kind of riot beginning around you, as she says, So beautiful. So very beautiful. What would you guys like to do?
Last time was You're crazy! You're wasting alcohol! And then he looks at the lady burning and says, Stop, drop, and roll! Stop, drop, and roll! As he tries to...
You said it's over by the bar?
So she came walking up. She was attending the bar there. Seems to be from, what you learned about the establishment prior and kind of in rumor that she's the co-owner here. And kind of seemingly out of nowhere, she just comes around and sploosh causes this to happen.
Where at in the bar does she do this?
So she would have walked right up and be right next to you. You could say she'd be right at the number 6 there, yeah.
Let's see, alcohol fire. Are there any curtains, heavy curtains over the windows or anything to smother the fire with?
You feel like you could, right next to you there's a big window. So my bad, that got...
All right, how about athletics to yank the heavy curtains off and then smother the fire?
Okay, let's see it. That's a good idea.
That is not so good. Maybe I can get some help.
Yeah, I was hoping.
Sure, yeah. Well, Valorous will see you doing this. Start trying to pull him off.
Let's try this again.
So you guys rush to help her, not even worried about your own safety. As Oddbar, with a little help from your friends, you rip this thick fabric down from the window and just cover it over this once beautiful woman. And as you kind of beat, gently enough to douse these flames, after a moment you pull it back, and you see that her once beauty has now been just raw and charred by these flames, as she'll never be the same. However, she is alive. And then you realize that the flames around you are kind of spreading quickly across the floor and up the wall, to the painting there in front of you becomes consumed. You hear panicked guests fleeing for their lives. There's a terrified throng of people just belting for the front door, shouts of like, "Fire! Fire! Help! Help!" As you realize this is getting to be quite a panicked situation. How are you guys going to react to that?
If the woman's not moving, Valoros will kind of like pick her up and he'll start moving towards the front door with her as fast as he can and a princess carry.
Okay, how about the other two?
You said that was a window, right?
One more time, I'm sorry.
You said there was a window here?
There is a window, but you are kind of up on a raised area. But, I mean, would be pretty badass if that was what you had in mind, I guess.
Oh yeah. Just jumping out the bridge. As I rage and I jump out. You're crazy!
Okay, roll me we'll go shoot, I'll give you a bone on this one. Athletics or acrobatics.
Oh, athletics, because I'm raging. Oh my god!
Okay, so as you shatter through this glass to ninja roll below, you're able to do so, of course, as your burly self drops, and you intend to do this cool parkour roll as you hit the ground, but instead you do a bit more of a splat. However, you're not very high up, so it's only 2, which I think you.
It's half to 1.
So yeah, so you'll take 1 bludgeoning as you just gotta kind of pick yourself up off the ground there, and then Oddvar, how do you react here?
What are we? Is the building on fire now?
It seems to be catching, and
So we weren't able to put it out.
you could certainly try.
Yeah. What do you want?
Okay, so for our first round here, if we want to call it that, Valeros, you scoop this woman up and begin to take off for the front entrance.
Right.
Vilhasa just ninja bursted out of this window to the ground below, and then so Oddvar, you go to quench the flames, and as you begin to do so, you obviously realize that it's lost, and as you kind of you're not sure potentially what else could be in here worth investigating, I suppose, or collecting if you're of that nature in the time that you would have. But as you soak in all these details, you're also beginning to soak in a little bit of smoke, and if you'll make me just a Constitution save. As no issue, as a little bit of smoke is kind of filling around you, you kind of realize the danger, but it's not too threatening. As we'll kind of move on to the second stage here, where Valeros, are you just trying to just run out of the front door with this woman?
Yeah, is carrying her slowing my movement by half, or?
It is, but it's essentially for the moment, because we're not necessarily like in a combat or anything. But if that's what you're trying to do, then you could just barrel out of here.
Okay, yeah.
I just between the first and second kind of thing there, and then Oddvar, what would your plan be now? Do you want to kind of stay in here for any reason, or would you be following Valeros out?
Yeah, I'll follow Valeros out and see if there's anybody left. I'll escort them out.
Okay, and so it ends up kind of both ways, where you definitely feel that way. You have helping in mind, and as you try to put out the flames, it doesn't quite work out for you, and you turn to leave and you run. You see Valeros in a mad scrabble, perhaps even a slight, bit of panic in his eyes as he's grabbed this woman and trying to make it out of here as fast and safely as possible. And unfortunately, he kind of joins these throngs of people, and you can even kind of just see as you're looking down below before you rush down, there's a couple of people that drop underfoot. It's definitely not meant to happen, of course, by anybody, but there's a couple that just get crushed, and you can hear them screaming. And then by your measure, you immediately begin to take charge, yell over the crowd, try to get some semblance of order and the panic out, and slowly but surely you find yourself breathing the fresh, cool air in the night. and you can maybe one or two had end up dropping and getting crushed there on the way out, but without you taking charge and jumping there, it would have been much, much worse. And the place looks like structurally it's not going to burn all the way to the ground. There's pretty severe damage here as everyone starts to shuffle out. You recognize some of the same people that were just in the room too that you could approach and kind of have conversations with. Vilhasa, you burst out of this window. You see a couple other finely dressed nobles. They jump out. A couple young dwarven lasses like before. Somehow it's the same one. She's like, my hero. You catch one in each arm. Then they begin to fight each other over you as you slowly back away and look for your comrades who seem to be up in the front here. And everyone, you come out and you see just kind of a crowd gathered out in the front of this area. As I said before, everyone that was in there has kind of made it out. A couple, random people, unfortunately, may have gotten a little crushed, but as far as anyone of significance, you kind of make meet like dazed gazes in each one as each person is kind of reacting and recovering from this crazy spectacle. The Zor himself, Fulton Goss, is kind of composing himself, and he strides up to where the woman Kata is, and he demands, this woman, she must be restrained. We must summon the city watch. She tried to kill my beautiful wife. Look at her. Thank you for saving her, but something must be done. She must pay. And as he says that, a man that you might have kind of seen off to the side a little bit before, but perhaps not so much, as he's always kind of honeying the noble women and all. But he kind of strides forwards and he takes the hand of his wife as she kind of just whimpers and goes to his chest, as Kata is she was the co-owner and the wife of this fellow, and his name is Erdun for the sake of it. But of course he's not saying that now, as he more says, expletive deleted to you, Fulton. This is my wife. So, she wouldn't have done anything to intentionally harm Zora. She always admired her, it seemed to me. You need to back off. And you can see like the crowd's kind of gathering and no one's really taking either side. And Fulton, the noble hosting this place, Fulton Goss, turns to you guys, or the guy who bought it out and stuff, not the owner. But he turns and he's like, look, these people are crazy. He tried to kill my wife. You have to be with me, right? Restrain these people. Restrain them now. And he's kind of expecting that of you guys.
I mean, the lady did throw alcohol at her, but the guy didn't do anything. Aren't just city guards here? We could try and restrain the lady.
Erdun kind of speaks up and he's like, those city watch, they're not going to investigate this properly. We can't trust them. And then despite him kind of speaking out, even the Zor Fulton kind of like doesn't say much in resistance to that. He kind of like, it's an unspoken thing here that they're kind of corrupt in ways, and he's well, she's a criminal though. Something must happen. And in this moment, I mean, you guys can kind of speak to, you got the two couples there. If you want to like ask any specific questions to anyone in particular, it seems like it'll be a moment too before these city watch will show up, because they're not the most reliable.
Valorous will ask Kata, I think that's the woman who threw the alcohol.
Yep.
All right. What do you remember?
So as you approach her, she seems unresponsive, and she doesn't really resist any questioning, but she just looks towards the flames that are kind of still licking the sides of the building there in front of you. The heat, it's almost a bit oppressive even still this close, but her eyes are very unfocused, and she just stares at the flame, unable to snap out of whatever is affecting her. And as you do so, Erdun kind of like, he doesn't resist your examination of her of sorts, but he kind of waits a moment, and then he says, "Look, Kata wouldn't have done that. She's a fun, beautiful lady, and I'll admit, go ahead and roll like an insight check real quick."
Okay.
Can I help in the insight?
Sure, you can give him help on that.
Reroll with advantage, or just a regular reroll?
Oh,
there we
nice,
go.
there you go. You can see that he is kind of hiding something there.
Aye, maybe you don't truly know your wife if you're always hunting with your other ladies around here.
Well, look, Zora, I mean, she's an influential woman, she's an influential woman around here, and I've got a place to run, and I mean, sure, we've had a few words, and sometimes we have some dances and things like that, but I mean, her husband never really seemed to complain about it. Although I'll admit, sometimes Kata would get a little jealous about it. But I don't think that'd be enough for her to do something like this. This is very extreme, and look at her. I mean, something just ain't right. And he's kind of like snapping his finger in front of her. Come on, girl. What's with you? Look, though, if you guys can find any kind of evidence in this situation that might exonerate her, or at least save her from some sort of execution she'll be surely promised to, I could offer 50 gold at least that I could come up with, if you can do that for me.
Suppose we can try. Valor should kind of look at Odvar. What do you think the chances are she was put under some kind of spell?
It seems a bit out of place.
You think she was bewitched?
Nah, I don't. I mean, clearly something's wrong with her right now, but maybe it's just the shock of. I mean, this is what I'm worried about, but I can't say these things really happen out in the open here too often. Things happen in this city, but it's often quite discreet. Maybe it's how hot it's been around here lately. It's gotten her to her head. Maybe she's a little dehydrated today, and just, I don't know. Maybe something is in it. You gotta figure it out. And if you could come up with anything, I can give you 50 gold for your time at least.
Well, hey, lady! Start shaking her.
She just doesn't. She's just very unresponsive, and so that seems about as much as you'll get out of those two if you want to agree to his request or not. And then you have the other couple, and there does seem to be like a pretty good mixture of folks around here that you could kind of mix in with too to try to kind of talk to about the night's events in a sense.
Not good at it, but can I hear, right after shaking and realizing that there's nothing going on, nothing's coming from her, try and listen to see if there was anyone whispering any particular thing that is related to her?
So speaking with the Goss couple would be like an actual thing we can go through, but it would either be after that or now, since you're asking. Each one of you can make an insight, intimidation, or persuasion check, and then that will kind of see what you might be able to either overhear or kind of coerce, or however it may be. And then, of course, if you want to flavor it in your own way, if success or fail. It looks like DC 15 on this one. So Valeros was that was from earlier, right, with the 22?
Yeah, that was from earlier. I haven't rolled anything just yet, but Valeros will start, are we just working the crowd in general, trying to figure stuff out right now, you said?
I'm in Texas. I'm like, Valeros, man. My bad.
Alright, yeah, I'll go with the persuasion attempt then. Alright, just start control, mainly with the crowd, trying to control them a little bit. Okay, what did you see happening? In fact, he would probably focus on the servants that were there more than the actual noblemen.
Okay, and I guess since you ended there, we'll start with you there. As you mix in with one dude who works under Kata, and he's a bit shaken up, but after a bit of friendly conversation towards him, he kind of opens up and he says, well, if you're looking into this and you're looking for information about Kata, I did see her speaking to someone earlier. It's a Thayan man, recognizable as ever if you ask me. Not too popular around here, those folk. But, I've heard the name Azak. Oh, I overheard that. That was a bit earlier today, but I'll admit I didn't really see that fellow anywhere after the attack happened or anything. And then he kind of goes on to continue. He says, well, and also, my buddy said he was working a little closer and overheard Kata was being asked by that Thayan man how to find the artist who did that there painting up yonder. And it seemed like she seemed to get the name, but after that, I don't know. She just seemed a little different. Kata's usually real chipper and nice, but I don't know, that fella, he seemed to kind of watch her for a moment, and then he just left. Kind of odd. And then Vilasa, unless you have another way, I would say perhaps you overhear this and you track down the friend who apparently overheard this, and you demand more information, saying that this is serious, clearly.
Oh yeah, exactly the same line I thought I was going for. So you got it.
So you guys were kind of working in tandem to get some information from these servants. You approach this guy, and he seems a little younger, a little squirrelier, and definitely scared under your firm grasp, but he instantly spills everything he knows. And he says, okay, I'll tell you, please. We've been through enough tonight. Oh, man. Damn, this is going to make a good story, though. But look, he looked like this. Kind of like one of those regular old Thayan guys. But I noticed some of those ones I've heard of would have those body tattoos. He kind of shudders. I couldn't imagine getting that done. I wonder how far down it goes, you know what I mean? But I don't think he has those, but he sure does have that bald head that they do have. But from what I know, he's in a small home near the Thayan embassy here in Mulmaster. That's where he usually resides. But man, I gotta say, I wish I could help you more, but I gotta get your opinion. Did you see that painting? It was awfully beautiful. It's such a shame that thing got all burnt up tonight. Don't you think?
Well, at least it was the painting and not the real thing,
Go ahead and you two, since you're having this conversation with them, make an insight check together real quick. I guess one could do with advantage, or you could just both take a stab at it.
Phil, I've got +2. What do you have?
Will has a +3.
Okay, yeah, we'll both make separate checks, and that makes most sense to me.
Okay, cool. All right.
21.
Valeros.
No.
All right, and so you can see that as he speaks about this painting, he doesn't seem to be as in such a trance as Kata was, but he seems to be deeply touched by some emotion. And from what you learned about Kata, she was kind of an incredibly passionate person when it came to art and dance and perhaps Erdun's flirtatious behavior. But you're kind of getting a sense from this that people who are already a little bit emotional or a little bit roused up are kind of getting a little bit more touched and kind of obsessed with this painting, where they're clearly like enamored with it. And he kind of even presses you a little further. He's like, man, yeah, I think I'm gonna have to find that artist myself and see if he might be able to get a print. I'll have to check out that gallery one day. But you know, do y'all need anything else from me, or can I go?
I think we've got enough information from you. We'll turn around to the other two. It's so bit weird that
You're good.
it's a bit weird that they're so enraptured by that painting. I mean, it was nice, but it wasn't. Do any of you know about anything about artistic works that can contain magic?
What was your question?
Do you think like artistic works can have magic, basically? Or was this one of it?
That artist can have magic? Yes.
No, arts. Like the painting could have magic. Sorry.
Yes, anything's possible, but I'll admit I've never heard of that specifically before.
It's a bit weird that they're taken by the painting, and well, now it's kind of destroyed.
Well, what do you think? Should we check the? Sounds like we got two different leads. Then we could try and check in with that nephew who painted that and check out on his gallery, or we can hunt down this Thayan guy at the embassy. Artox that they said his name was, or
Yes, something like that. But I mean, he was looking for the artist, so maybe us going to the artist would be the direct route.
I suppose that makes more sense. We can check the artist first, and if we find nothing there, we can look in with the Thayan embassy.
So one thing or two things to mention real quick is you guys are kind of moving on from this situation, which is just fine. Like, we can definitely do that. You could speak with the Zor Fulton Goss. He probably would have a little bit more to say as far as folks there.
The husband of the burn woman.
Yep. And then also you could kind of check up on her too if you like. And then also, I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, the place behind you is burning. It's clear that it'll be in disrepair and such after this. However, clearly there were some unexplored areas that, you already seen what happened. You might have to deal with some smoke and things like that. But if you think there might be any kind of clues or any, just little things or whatever you may want to investigate, of course, it's going to come at a cost. I know it's just saying being like kind of crazy, but if you want to, you could certainly try to go back in and run in and check some places real quick if you wanted. But of course, it's at risk to your health. Or you could speak with this dude and just move on. But I just, from DM's perspective, it's not like a lot that you might miss out on, but there's a little, I guess. Not like the magic item or anything like that. But I'd hate to just not say anything. But of course, it's at your own risk. So I don't know if anybody's got the constitution to do it.
Let's move on.
I mean, I think we would have spoken to because we need to go to the nephew's place, so we would have spoken to the relatives in order to get more detail and then head off.
Yeah, let's at least talk to those guys and then head out. I'd rather not go back into the burning building.
Okay, I know it's a bit of a stretch, of course. And as you kind of look up and wonder what clues and coins and treasure may be waiting there, perhaps, probably not much, but you think, it wouldn't be worth it. As all of a sudden a timber kind of falls in there, and embers and sparks kind of flame up, and you're like, a decision better made. Who knows what lies ahead. The last person you can kind of see to talk to there would be the Zora and Zora, which is kind of their titles here as nobles. And Zora herself, she is alive, thanks to you guys, honestly. But she's pretty much unresponsive at this point and unconscious. She's just kind of like, being laid there. Her husband kind of concernedly stands by as they await help. Every once in a while, her eyes kind of flutter open, and she lets out a pitiful moan of agony, as you can see that the burns have ravaged her body. So unless you have any, help for her there, she's just kind of there, but alive at least. The Zor himself sees your approach, And as you guys, he kind of comes up and he's like, I don't know why anyone else would want to kill my wife. Could it be some petty jealousy, or perhaps another one of these noble families, an assassin? I don't know. And he seems like a bit paranoid and out of wit. The rabble that resent us, who rightfully rule Molemaster, are probably the ones responsible for this. My wife.
We might have a few leads on this, sir. Waiting on names, but the woman that set the fire in the first place, I think she started acting differently after speaking to some gentleman from the Thayan embassy who was here at the party for a while and then left after speaking to her. And as well as that, apparently a lot of people, including him, seem to be really obsessed with your nephew's artwork. Do you know anything about your nephew potentially being magical or anything like that?
Oh, magical? Heavens no. He's, a bit out of the ordinary, as it were, but it's not nothing too like you sort or anything. But I'll say, as far as the Thayan man, I'm not sure about that. I'm not aware of any such individual, really. Perhaps I should be, though. And my nephew, though, I, of course, know and love dearly. But I'll admit I haven't seen him in over a week. I did visit his home several days ago, but he wasn't there. I didn't really think anything of that at the time, because he's a bit flighty at best. However, I just wanted to make sure he was going to finish this painting I commissioned. And, well, I couldn't really be any more concerned after, the day before the party here. It all of a sudden just showed up on my doorstep, with the note from Andric himself, apologizing for the delay and saying that he was waiting for these types' inspiration to strike.
Well, given that this painting seems to be quite literally caught in the middle of what happened, we might want to go and check on the gallery ourselves, see if there might be something we could find there. Is it alright if we go down and investigate your nephew's gallery? Or wherever his workspace is?
Well, I can surely give you the location of his home. Anything to get to the bottom of this and bring some justice for my dear wife here, of course. And he kind of gives you a quick description of how to get there. You feel pretty comfortable with that. So you do have that indication of where to go. And he says, as far as his gallery, that's a different place entirely. I used to display my weapons and armor that was produced by the fine Goss family forges here. But with, the nudging from the old ball and chain there, she wanted me to convert it into a gallery for art display. And, well, of course, as being my family member, he has first and foremost as his art is displayed there and sold. We do take in some others, but, he does display a lot there. And I could surely give you the instructions of how to get there, too. And he's kind of like scribbling with a very shaky hand on a piece of paper to him of how to get there and the other place as well. And despite his, scrawled and shaky handwriting, you feel pretty comfortable on how you could get to either one of those places. Yep, so.
Alright, thank you very much, sir. We're doing what we can to get to the bottom of this.
Looks like you got a couple leads for whichever way you want to go. And he kind of thanks you. The City Watch should be here. Oh, here they come now. And everyone seems to shut up pretty fast around you. Any willingness of cooperation you had, like, pretty much, as, you see a different side of people when the City Watch show up, and everyone's like, I don't know nothing. And the patrol leader kind of storms in, obviously looking to capture someone as quickly as possible. And they stop, and they stand before Kata, and they try to grab her one and guard onto each arm, while Erdun begins to protest loudly. No, please! They'll take her! They'll kill her! They'll kill her! Would either of you, or either three of you, like to intervene, or else they pretty much will just start to cart her off?
I mean, you might want to investigate what's going on. It might not just be as simple as what you see. Bill will shout.
So if you guys want to make a deception or persuasion check, you could kind of do it as a group check or one person roll with advantage. I guess however you want to take your chances.
I think Vil rolling with advantage might be the best bet.
I agree.
Deception or persuasion with advantage to try to convince them otherwise. All right. The patrol leader kind of stops, and with a bit of a guffaw. All right. Well, I am Mallory Ostur, and by my word, I think you may be onto something. And to the protesting of this fine individual here, and sure enough, Alton is like, "Are you kidding me? She's obviously guilty." Mallory says, "I'll agree. I'll postpone her fate for 2 days' time, if you can investigate this. Otherwise, she will be tried for the crime she may have committed this evening." And with that, they kind of begin to take investigative notes of the situation and things as Erdun quickly carts Kata out of there as fast as she can before she's taken to jail. And Zor is kind of ticked off that you guys had did that. But he comes up to you and he says, "You sorts with your ever-present persistence of justice. The clues are right here before us. You were standing there and witnessed this just as I did. But look, if we're doing it like this, I'll give you 100 gold if you can find whoever is behind this and deal with them like the dogs they are."
Sounds like a good deal to me then. All right.
All right. So you guys have a couple tasks here, perhaps. One of exoneration and one of retribution. And where do you guys want to go first? You have a couple leads, and I know we're only about an hour in now, but maybe we'll visit a place, and then we'll take a little break after that, if that's cool with everyone.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So there's a few options here. I guess a couple there in particular. If you want to go to the nephew's house or his art gallery first.
I feel like checking the house first makes the most sense.
Yeah, it seems to have been unresponsive there. And that sounds like a cause for concern.
Okay, I'm sorry. Which one was it? My bad.
The house.
Okay. Okay, so you make your way to Andric Goss's home from the direction from Fulton. As you approach the house, you can see that the family politics between Andric and his family, as he kind of had a descent into some strange behavior. No one really kind of wanted to take him in or help him out too much, and so he's left with his own meager funds to secure a small single-room dwelling in this. I love the adjectives they use in this stinking neighborhood close to the harbor. It's so stinking here as you approach it. And the front door there is locked. The window is shuttered. No sounds come from within. And so you guys were at the party, and it's starting to get a little late into the night. You could probably find some shelter we'll just, for the sake of everything, at no charge, really. Whenever you decide to take a long rest, you could, go back to wherever you had already made lodgings before you went to the party. But for now, it's nighttime. You're at Andric Goss's home. It's locked, windows shuttered, no sounds from within. Don't suppose we have a rogue, do we?
No.
Let's bust through the front door.
Valorous will assist you as you do it.
No door is locked to adventurers.
I rolled 25 on the athletics.
Okay, so as you smash the door, it's open for sure, but you hear like a "oh my" from behind and look up behind you, and just in time to see a curtain close, and you're like, oops, like perhaps not the best way to do things discreetly, and you feel like time may be of the essence if you don't want to get apprehended.
It was already open!
So
Wait, was it somebody inside the house reacted, or somebody like in a house opposite us?
yeah, like a house opposite, like the classic like old lady looking out the curtains that's like, "oh my," and that closes them real fast as you look back, who would most definitely call the police on you. So you know that time may be of the essence.
I'm just gonna try this. Valorous is just gonna call over. City watch, business ma'am. Go about your evening.
Make a persuasion with disadvantage or deception.
Okay.
Wait, I did. My shouting of it was already open doesn't help.
10.
You know you hear no return, but you know you may want to check this place out quickly and not stay too long.
Yeah, we'll go in.
Yeah, go on in then.
Okay, so you quickly run in to get what you may before the corrupt police comes. They don't have any cameras on their chest here, so you don't want to mess with them. But
They turn the arcane eye sigils off.
you see the narrow confines of this single room is barely containing the riot of art supplies all over the place. Any flat surface is covered with it. Bed frame's been turned over even in order to serve as a low shelf for the dried out paints and jars and multi-hued water with floating brushes. You see 3 easels here surrounding a small wooden table blackened by scorch marks, and they're caked in the wax of candles that have been burnt down to the nubs in the ash. There's unconsumed twigs and even small pieces of driftwood. Seems the scorched firewood fills the tiny hearth to overflowing, packed so tightly that whatever fire burned there was choked completely out. There's balls of blackened paper wedged amid the wood at the bottom of the stack. Anything in particular that jumps out at you out of that?
Balls of paper.
Yeah.
Grabbing a bunch of it.
So okay, so when you run in, if all 3 of y'all make an investigation check just real quick.
Okay.
Just pick up a quick detail, perhaps. It seems like it's hard to tell how long it's been since Andric has actually been here. He could have been earlier here today, for all you know, or it could have been, yesterday or 2 years ago. It's hard to tell, but you know this is definitely his house. And the easels around the table are kind of incomplete paintings of flames. Looks like he was trying to make models here in some way. This is just you running in and taking a quick look. You can easily see that with the bits of wood and things like that. And your eyes instantly turn to the fireplace, as you guys had said, where it seems clear he was attempting to make a bigger fire for him to paint, as the other ones were just too small. But as you kind of pull out some of the random scraps of paper, only a couple of them are of interest to you, but you feel like you may want to save reading them until you can kind of get out of this place, as you know that the City Watch are going to be here any minute.
Is it just this one room? Just so no other openings elsewhere?
Right, this is just a single room, pretty low income place. Starving artist,
We've got all the scraps of paper.
Yeah, you run in, take a quick look, grab anything that looks out of the ordinary, and if it's up to y'all, you could bail on out unless you want to take a moment longer for anything else.
There was a bunch of easels, a couple of burned out wax candles, the papers in the fireplace, and that's about all we could really see.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, Valorous will grab, like, he won't take the time to unfurl any of them here, but he'll, like, grab on to, like, a bunch of, like, the balls up, all the pieces of paper that are in the fireplace. With the plan of, like, checking them later when we've got, like, more time to look over what they are.
Okay, and just for the sake of that, you don't have to go too far. As you know, you run down and go down a couple different alleyways that seem to cross a little network here behind these residential buildings and homes and such. And you already hear kind of the telltale signs of the City Watch bearing down on your previous location. And as you kind of, breathing heavy, all looking at each other like, oh man, we got to be careful here. But curious of what you may have found, you start to unfurl them, and some of them are just ruined bits of things that he wasn't satisfied with. But a couple in particular, you see, one is from the curator of the Ironheart Gallery. Still, it looked like Andric had received this. Half of it has been burned away or so, but what's remaining there says, by informed patrons of the arts, such as Doral Sire and Tiega Goss, thus, with great pleasure, I invite you to display your works at the Ironheart Gallery for a period of no less than 3 months, so that the Mole Masterides can embrace your genius, and we can further engender an interest in your true artistry. Yours in admiration, Jarena Plym. So you've already kind of heard of this Ironheart Gallery. You can kind of find that. The other things of note there, I suppose, would be the names. Tiega Goss, obviously, you already met her. She's the one that just got burnt up. But the name Doral Sire is pretty unfamiliar to you. And despite any kind of way you can think about it, you really just cannot recognize the name. But if you wanted to kind of ask anyone around about it, it's a bit of a steep one, but I'll offer it, of course, as it's here for a DC 20 charisma check.
A flat charisma check?
I think you could probably just take your pick of which. It just says flat, but I'd say take your pick of the usual.
Yeah.
Nice.
Scare people into telling me the truth.
So that was a steep one, but it was hard to. You kind of even have to ask a few people and flex on a few. Your pectoral muscles are getting tired from flexing on so many people until you finally get the answer you need, because it seems like this guy is like virtually unknown outside of very small circles, but is rumored to be a simple, albeit peculiar, glass blower.
Another artisan. Interesting.
So where do we want to go next? The private family gallery, this new, just so the name, I should have written it down, the new gallery that we found here, or find this glass blower.
And real quick though, there was another paper that you pull out of there. This I don't know if how much this will influence what you decide to do, but as you kind of are contemplating what you just read, you have in your hand another sooty, smudge-covered kind of charcoal drawing. It depicts a hastily drawn neighborhood. A large building in the center of this image is awash in flames, but as you kind of look at it a little closer, it seems as if the flames are constrained by the edges of the building, as if it's adorning them rather than consuming them. Down at the bottom there's a word that says Azak Throm, followed by a question mark. You guys kind of heard about Azak a little bit. Y'all can make me a history check.
I think Azak was the name of the Thayan guy we were told about.
And that is true. If y'all will just maybe so Valorous, good. All right, so you guys obviously, if you heard the name earlier, you remember that, and so you're kind of putting that piece together. However, Valorous, you not only would you kind of remember that too, of course, but you'd know this name is just a little different, and it's definitely Thayan in origin. And you kind of remember hearing about where exactly the Thayan embassy is, and you could feel like with the knowledge you kind of remember and have built that, and that one of the servants earlier had told you Azak Throm's home is kind of rumored to be, nearby there. You feel like you could find that place if you wanted to investigate there. And also, real quick, and anyone wants to make an investigation check on the sketch. I guess that's a good thing about us only having 3 is, it's not too much of a harm to have you all 3 take a stab at it. But you really don't recognize the rough sketch of the building. It doesn't seem like a place that you can really put anywhere. Yep, so unfortunately that one doesn't tell you as much there. But you got kind of an extra lead there. So what do you think next?
I guess we should still check the galleries next.
Yeah, I think so too. Yep.
So we've got the family gallery, and I double checked the notes that we just got. It was like the Appleton Gallery, or there's like some other like
Ironheart
Gallery. That's the other one.
I guess we can check those. Yeah, I thought their gallery is called the Ironheart Gallery.
Yeah, Ironheart Gallery, but is Ironheart Gallery the same name as the family gallery that they were the Zora was talking about earlier?
Yep, so it was formerly there to display their weapons and armor produced by the family forges, but has now been converted to a gallery. That letter earlier was, she's the curator there, Jarena.
Oh,
Clem.
God, okay, so the Ironheart Gallery is the only gallery, got it.
At least involved in this story. I'm sure there's a few others. They'll come up in other stories, I bet. Maybe not.
Okay, so it sounds like the order we should go in for, as far as we know right now, is check the Ironheart Gallery first, and maybe see if we can learn anything from this glass blower that was mentioned, and then we start looking for Azak's house, because we're gonna have to look around the neighborhood, but I'm pretty sure I would guess this is somewhere around the Thayan Embassy.
That's probably right. Should probably do that then.
All right, and so I guess just for some decision making here too, you guys make your way over the night to the Ironheart Gallery, and as you arrive, it seems to be closed. And of course, there's probably a handy little sign at the door that says "Open," and they're really only open during the day. So if you wanted to keep going in the night, I mean, you can approach it however you want, I suppose. You can always do some shenanigans, or you could take a break, like a rest, or you could go check out somewhere else, perhaps. And
we do have 2 days. We might as well just go back to our inns, get rest up, and meet back up here in the morning.
Can we swing by and just take a look at the glassblower's house before we go and rest? Not that we want to do anything, just want to make sure that it's not disturbed.
Hey guys, I have some bad news. Looks like company has come over to take me out to lunch. So I'm gonna have to drop. I'm sorry.
No worries, man. I appreciate you for being here.
Yep. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Later. All right. It's okay. 2-man crew.
All right. And don't worry, we're doing great with these investigations. But yeah, sure. We can check on that glass blower. We had an address for him, right? We're not like blindly looking for his place.
You are somewhat, but I mean, with what you know, it's not hard to locate. You can find it.
Okay, yeah. I guess we can try and check for him first, and if he's home, get some information. If not, we'll go back to the gallery in the morning.
All right, and as you start to search it, you find yourself in a pretty quiet neighborhood near the Thayan Embassy here in Mulmaster. And Azak Throm's house in particular is you kind of discovered eventually. It's a pretty small house with a tiny yard surrounded by a low iron fence. And, it's quiet here as the night's kind of going on. You don't hear too much, but it sounds from the, maybe a candle lit, a few scuffles here and there. Sounds like someone is probably inside.
Is Azak Throm also the glassblower, or?
From what you heard, yes. The Thayan... Or no, wait. No. I'm sorry. Doral Sire was the other
The
fellow.
Doral Sire was the guy.
And
whose
so
house we
you
were
didn't
trying to
actually
find.
get any indication of where his domicile was. You just kind of heard the name there.
Okay, well, I guess we can still use the information and say we found the roughly where the Zog's
The
house is.
index,
But
yeah.
So
we'll go back in the morning though to the gallery. I still think it's the best plan.
Azok's name had kind of came up there too, with that it being written on that note or on that kind of painting or sketch. Oh my bad, I have a sketch there, and then sorry, it's just a fun map that I pulled up that is kind of usable for this.
Looks like a Pokemon map.
Oh dang it! Don't say that. We're live. It's Hokey Con. Dang it! I'm just playing. Dang it, got it. I ran that Pokemon adventure on here that one time, and I had all this music and stuff. And every time the actual like theme song would come up, I'd be always like, ah, crap! I'm trying to like skip it as fast as I can. I'm like, this is gonna get me taken off here. But no, this is I actually didn't use this map for that coincidentally, but I just I have like a whole bunch of Pokemon maps that could be used for tabletop stuff if maybe one day.
Wait, is this an actual Pokemon map?
To be honest, I'm not sure, and I don't think so. I think there was just like a whole big set of them I got that were like fan created. I think.
Yeah, I think it's frankly I don't recognize this.
I'm pretty sure this is fan created. I've never seen a Pokemon Center designed that way.
Yeah.
It's cool though. So here you are in Mulemaster. It's less beachside, but it is by the water. Yeah, but probably not too beachy from the descriptions of the surrounding area that I've heard of. That's the noble's house. That's just the noble's house.
The noble leader. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Don't lock eyes. Okay.
But yeah, all right. If we've got something, so I figure we'll go back in the morning to check out the gallery when they're open.
So you wanna you're at Azok's house, the Thayan. You've heard of his involvement here a bit.
I mean, peeking in, can we like see through what's going on? Just like a nosy neighbor kind of thing.
You don't. You could see a man sitting there inside, kind of resting after a day. Clearly, of the description you've heard, seems to be a Thayan man and looks like a mage in all but the tattoos that they usually wear. And it's nothing up to anything suspicious at this point or anything like that. He's just chilling. This is his house, so you're kind of peeking in through the windows. You can catch a sight of him here and there as he's making some tea and reading a book, and doing something that was inappropriate that no one should ever see. But that's what you get for peeking in on his windows, you creep.
It's at that point that we walk away, like, oh, let him
Oops,
rest.
Valorous, you're
What
like, what did you
nefarious
see?
things-
He's like, nothing. Did you
The
see
nefarious thing
anything?
was he doing with that chamber pot? Oh. We should go.
These are the things on adventures you never speak of, but oh well, so it just happens. But you feel like even at this hour it may be a bit rude in ways, but you could probably knock on his door and such, or worse if you're trying to, whatever your intentions are here.
Probably best we just do everything in the morning then. I don't think we need to bother him tonight.
Yeah, I concur with that. Okay, so let's sleep.
So yeah, we just go. We head back to our inn and long rest until the morning. Just do.
Okay, so you guys kind of take a look. You decide to come back in a more appropriate hour and take your rest. Meet back up in the morn. So I know you had talked about in the the next day doing the gallery. So you do have either one, I suppose at this point. You still whichever one.
I still think I think doing the gallery first makes the more sense.
Yeah. We
Okay.
go for the gallery early in the morning when it opens up.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's It actually opens from about midday until just past dusk. So you have a little bit of time in the morning there.
Oh, we might want to actually just. I guess we'll see it with the Om's house. Or is it a Som or a Zoc?
I know
Zoc.
that one dude from the other thing is close, right? But no, it's a Zoc.
A Zoc. Okay.
How dare you! No.
Yeah, we could check on a Zoc first thing in the morning then, so we're not just wasting the morning.
All right, so as you come back to his home, this time you find it kind of clearly vacant. However, he has a pretty nosy neighbor such as yourselves next door who's more than willing to kind of see you guys approach. And he's like, that dude's not here. Yeah, that Thayan, he comes and goes all times of day and night. Weird feller there. I never really seen him do anything wrong, but yeah, probably one of those filthy necromancers, if you ask me. And kind of curses and spits and goes on about his day. As you see, the house is there, empty, but
Is it a 1-story or a 2-story house?
being as small in this area, I'd say it'd probably be just a little 1-story house, bigger than Andrix that you were just at before, but still pretty quaint.
Does it look like it has a chimney of some sort on top?
For the sake of curiosity of what you got in mind, it sure does.
Let's Santa Claus this shit. Stalros is gonna start climbing the. He's gonna go to an area where he's not clearly visible to the rest of the street or anything. Like if he has to go around a side or something, but he's gonna look for handholds and find a way to try to climb up to the roof.
And so for this map, essentially you guys would be over here if you wanna.
Okay.
Put yourself there, and you're able to shimmy down in a little bit soot covered. Velasa, you could follow him in, or he could just open the door for you from the other side, however you want to make your appearance.
I'll stay guide.
So you're you hear this just shuffling and banging and oh crap, and then all of a sudden the door pops open and Valorous is standing there with a sly smile and a wink, maybe a bit besmudged.
Oh, let's take a look around, shall we?
Okay, so I guess right off the bat, go ahead and give me an investigation check from both of y'all.
All right. -1, let's go. Actually, not too bad.
Not too bad. So you start to kind of look around, kind of still a bit, worried about the city watch and things, but you can see that really in this kind of small workspace, there's a lot of boring diplomatic paperwork about developing business and trade ties with Mulemaster.
Nothing that looks like it.
So I'll go ahead and give you something. It was DC 15, so I'll be honest. But I think with the two of y'all, a 13 is probably pretty dang good when you both have -1s. So, yes, just as you're about to leave thinking this guy is just some diplomat, there ain't nothing here to find, you go and turn to leave, and just by happenstance, Valorous, the edge of your boot kind of catches on a loose floorboard, and you almost fall. Vilasa kind of steadies you as you look down with curiosity and see this loose floorboard. You pull it up, and there are some documents there that were clearly being hidden, and you can take a peek. One of them says, kind of revealing some potential provocation of a rebellion being brewed in the Zent ghettos intentionally to weaken the current Council of Blades. There's a mention of Rassendil's sword, and if you guys want, you can make a history check real quick to identify who Rassendil is.
Rassendil's sword. Okay.
Nice. So you both on this one would recognize Rassendil. This is one Rassendil Umdolphin, as a previous High Blade. And the High Blade, of course, is the main dude of the ruling council in this town. You also see some notes here that are talking about Andric's artwork, and how it seems capable of influencing an already emotionally inflamed viewer. Azak, through these notes that you're seeing he's keeping, is requesting funds to sponsor the artist from handlers in the embassy over in Thay, but doesn't seem like he's getting any help from them over this. He has kind of taken some personal notes here too, and he exclaims how surprised he is that Andric had painted this mural in the Zent market of his own volition, and how he had spoken to him about, paying him to do so, and then ends up finding out he did it of his own volition. And now you could see a bit of a scheme here Azak is keeping record of how he hopes to influence the artist Andric the next time he sees him to do more work of this nature without offering any payment. He's seeing kind of a bit of a thing that he could do here for his own benefit. So that's about all you can gain there.
Are there like spare like parchments like lying around the house, like blank ones?
Yeah, you can grab a couple pages if you want.
Okay, a couple blank one or two, and Valorous will actually take the time to like copy down everything on the notes we just pulled out, so we have our own physical copy, and then he'll put the original works back down into the hidden floorboard.
That's pretty smart. Okay. So as you guys kind of dust your hands of this, and you like open the door and like lock it behind you and close it, all casual like, you're like, we're never here. You start to make your way out into the bright daylight here, and as you kind of just moving you up, as you kind of come around the corner, all of a sudden you hear a shout as two kind of spy-like individuals jump out from behind these bushes and buildings, and they seem to be pretty threatening towards you. They kind of walk up and they're like, "You're over here with that traitor from the Thay. You need to come with us for questioning." And they seem to be coming at you quite hostilely. You feel like you may have one chance to say something if you want, or you could just defend yourselves, because who talks to you like that?
Hey, we're looking for that traitor as well. Maybe we could work together instead of being so aggressive.
Okay, so with no help, if you'll just make one simple persuasion check. Nice. And so as you say that, they kind of lowered their weapons and they approach, and they're like, "Well, I guess you guys don't really look like Thayans. Sorry if we mistake you for a band of mercenaries, though. You kind of look like you may do some of that work. Look, we're not here to kill. We're just trying to find information. And, have you guys discovered anything we could use for our case? If not, I would see you watch yourselves about breaking into other domiciles."
What exactly do you guys work for?
We are the Hawks.
Oh, with Momaster.
They're kind of like a local police agency, you could say. Of course.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Allegiances here and things like that go a long way, but they're also kind of confusing to track, as it's hard to say who's the good and bad in a town as dirty and dangerous as this one is.
I'll pull out the copies that I took of the information in there regarding the I'm trying to mess with like the trade deals and whatnot. I'm going to keep the information about him trying to manipulate our painter friend to myself. Valorous will like keep that page separate, but he'll show him the stuff about him about Azak trying to manipulate Mole Master's like Council of 10 and everything, and show it to them.
His eyes kind of get bright, and he's like, "I knew it! Oh wow, they're gonna think very highly of us for bringing this to light. Well, it's no harm in telling you. We've been suspecting this Azak of being a spy for the Thayans for quite some time. We've been watching his home pretty much 24/7, 24/10, as it were. And well, this is the confirmation we really didn't have, but needed to know. you guys are free to go, and here, I want you to have this, and in turn for helping us. And he gives you a silver ring that seems to be worth about 20 gold or so. It's a good thing we could avoid bloodshed this day.
Yeah, you might not have made it out.
All right, so you guys have kind of discovered some things there, avoided a conflict when you almost got beat up. Or not. You never know. Probably not.
Just 2 of them, I think we would have been fine.
These are super spies. Nah, but okay. So you guys want to make your way to the gallery yet, or you kind of got another little lead here? Guess not to push you in a direction either way, I suppose. But at least as far as one more place that's been mentioned now is that Zent Market mural. Of course, you do have the Ironheart Gallery to go to too, and looks like it's probably it for your leads.
How close is the Ironheart Gallery to being open? Like, is it almost midday now, or?
Let me check this. Yeah, I guess we can only hold it off for so long. But yeah, you could. You feel like you could go there now? It'd probably be a good time after your investigations here.
Yeah, I think we should check the gallery first, and then the Zent mural.
Okay, because seemed like that one is the only one that's a little bit timed. What you know about the Zent mural is that it's in kind of like an open marketplace, more like a sets of stalls and things. Probably a little bit.
So
more...
even if it gets to be like late at night, we can still actually go there and just check it out at night. So.
Okay, cool. So you guys make your way to this former display hall. Of course, it's quite extravagant in its construction and maintenance. And as you enter, you see that this long, narrow gallery is lit by a surprising number of lanterns hanging from the walls around you and the ceiling above. The light seems to be carefully directed onto dozens of paintings that line the walls, as well as a few small sculptures. In the back of the room, there's a few stands holding dusty suits of armor and weapons. They now serve as little more than coat pegs and hay racks. There's a young woman there, and she turns away from several noble-like individuals excitedly discussing a painting. She kind of briskly walks towards you, wide-eyed, with her odd dress of patchwork fabric rustling about her and the jingle of dozens of bangles around each wrist. She says, "Oh, more visitors. Hello, I'm Jarina. I'm the curator here, and I'm so very sorry. I'm with a couple of clients at this moment. Feel free to peruse the works here on display, and give me just a few, and I'll be right with you with anything you may need." And with that, she kind of gives you a big, cheery smile and turns back to her patrons as she kind of holds her arms out as she does so to kind of give you an indication of where to go. And you can see quite a few paintings going all the way down to the back of the gallery, and you're free to peruse them, as she'll be eagerly awaiting to know which one you want to purchase when you're done, of course.
Valeros will start walking down the gallery, and he's noticed a theme with some of the other paintings, so he's going to start looking specifically for any that have fire in them.
All right, as you guys start to slowly wander, maybe perhaps from each kind of lit up section to the next, you can see that the majority of here are in fact Andrix, clearly by his style and subject choice. There's a few other artist paintings here, here and there, kind of used as placeholders whenever one of his has been sold and taken down. And as you guys kind of freely inspect the artwork until Jarina is free, every once in a while she kind of looks over and she's like, "Please do not touch the artwork," and gives you a little, reprimand with your grubby soot-covered fingers and things. But you can see that while you're looking for these, telltale signs, the paintings nearest the door seem to be actually just very realistic portraits and landscapes of typical Mole Man people and places. It's noble and fine lighting with a prayer candle to Joaquin. You see a sweating smith forging a sword. There's a neighborhood illuminated by the glow spilling from the foundry's doors. But as you get a little bit further, you notice some closer details. There's one of a hand removing or replacing the glass cover of a brightly burning oil lamp. One that's a fire pit with dozens of feet dancing, stamping, running as shadows in the background. And as you get to the very back, the paintings here become almost completely abstract works of reds, oranges, and yellows that seem to capture the very essence of a flame, held in complete stillness. Still, the shapes seem to hold other objects. There's a face here, a building there, but each one is always wreathed in these mesmerizing flames. And as you do peer at these, both of you, if you'll make me a quick investigation check.
Ace investigator.
A decent DC 10 will do it on this one. In fact, no givvies on this one, as 10 is the number to hit. Valorous, you're finding yourself just lost in the blaze of light and color around you. However, Vilhasa, you start to pick out, definitely noticing hidden in these paintings here and there seems to be the same brooch that was worn by Tiega Goss in her portrait, which seems so long ago when you were back just partying it up in the wave and the wink. But you can easily recognize that. And there at the back, you see a table. It's used to keep track of like buyers of paintings and things like that, receipts and such. Just kind of taking a quick look, you can see Fulton Goss's name for that recent one, and you can even see the name of Isaac Throm, and it includes his address, which you don't really need that now, but you also see the name Doral Sire there, since you're going to have an eye for that, and it seems as if he's purchased a number of paintings and delivered them to homes and businesses and such, by the appearance of where they're being sent to. And just as you're kind of soaking that in, Jarina kind of comes up, and with the touch, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's more for our records and things. If you're interested in the prices for these paintings, we can talk more about that in person. Please, come."
Well, there's particularly one thing about the paintings. This brooch that we see, is it a family symbol, a sigil, a particular kind of common artwork here?
As you ask, she initiates this conversation with you guys, and then as you start to ask her that, she almost immediately turns away, and she kind of lights like more and more lamps in the area around you that were unlit, and she's kind of gesturing wildly as she replies to you, and it seems like she's always somewhat on the verge of kind of toppling one of these lamps over. And as you kind of ask about the painting, she kind of becomes almost a little hysterical, as it seems she's almost wanting to laugh and cry at the same time. And she says, "Oh, I don't recognize it, but it's just got to be part of the vision of Andric. We're so blessed to be in his presence of his work. He's such a visionary."
Valorous noticing her like lighting all these lamps and being more and more hysterical, so suddenly gets a very bad feeling about what's going on. And if she will let him, he will actually try to put his arms like on her wrists, like very much like arms around her on her wrist, trying to keep her from moving, and start like trying to guide her to like a different room or something. It's like, "Okay, I see you seem to have been working very hard these last few days. Why don't we take you somewhere where you can lie down and not stress out so much?"
She kind of pulls herself from your grasp, and she just looks a little confused more than anything else, as she doesn't really see anything wrong with her behavior necessarily, and she doesn't seem quite as deranged as like the Kata woman was earlier.
Okay.
But clearly something is like pushing her, and she says, "Sorry, but please get your hands off me. I'm only speaking of Andric. He's an artistic genius. And in fact, if you're here to buy any of his paintings, we only need to discuss the number. He really doesn't seem to mind what they go for. I had to convince him, really, to even charge. He seemed uncomfortable with being paid to do his work. And he always seems to be moving his hands and things as if he's still holding a brush. And as she speaks of him, you can see that she seems to be just like lost in more and like adoration, speaking about him.
Maybe know where to meet with him if I wanted a painting of mine own commissioned.
I'll admit I've only finally met Andric several days ago. I was really just hired here by the Goss family. Oh gosh, I'm so lucky though. His patron, that Doral Sire fella, had brought him in. She introduced me to Andric. It was probably the best day of my life. And well, I overheard them talking about how Doral wanted him to help him reach a broader audience. And Doral really encouraged it, saying he should just give the art away, put it on every street. He used the word engulf the city in your work. Oh goodness, it really rises a passion in me. I'm kind of wondering if Andric will even start to display his art for free around the city. He's such a noble and selfless soul.
You could say he's somewhat fiery, huh?
Well, I guess we want to commission him. We might have to talk to Doral first, since it seems like Doral knows where he is. Could you tell us where we could find Doral then?
Well, I'm a bit unsure on that. I never even heard of the guy until he just suddenly showed up here, choosing to fund Andric with everything he'd need for these wonderful, wonderful pieces of art before us. He really hasn't came back since then. But I have heard that he's some sort of smithy or something. I don't know. I heard him mention that day to Andric that he might find inspiration if he would only stare into the furnace at his shop. I know there's a few different professions that use those, but that's not really my forte. I'm a woman of the arts.
I guess we better make our way there then to quickly catch him if we miss him.
I suppose. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am, and you might want to ease up a little bit on the lens. You got plenty of lighting in here already, and Valorous will follow Vilhas out.
Like a ticking time bomb. As you
basically.
You slowly back out, and she's like, "Okay, I'll put a couple on hold for you, and I'll await your payment further." Yeah.
As soon as the doors are shut, and Valorous is like, "Run, just run."
Okay, and just for some flavor too, you guys leave the area, and since you kind of took a look there at that back table, and you see some of these places, you start to kind of wander, and as you guys have been around town and visiting and things, you kind of can start to align some things in your mind, where you heard how some of these paintings had been bought and shipped to places. So you've already been to Azok's house, which kind of reveals some of this to you as you're kind of lining everything up. It seems as if where these paintings have been delivered have met with some sort of fiery end. There's an inn that one was shipped to that a few days later happened to burn down in a kind of unexplained fire. And there was one where a man set his own home ablaze before taking a torch to his neighbors' houses. And the city watch had to kill him with a crossbow in the street. So of course that was the talk of the town, and all these occurrences at the time seemed pretty light or inconsequential, but now with this you're kind of lining all these details you've accrued up together, and it's like a Jimmy Neutron brain blast. The last one you remember hearing about too was that a woman had painted the whole entire interior of her house in red flames before she suddenly disappeared, and then a few days after it just suddenly burnt down, and people were kind of confused about that. Seems as if some part of Macabre plan to sow fiery chaos throughout Mulemaster you're learning you've been mixed up in. And as you've connected all these names and events and such, you really only have one other place to kind of investigate to maybe finally get a few more details you might need.
Is that Market?
And so you're really, what you've heard is And even Jorino is kind of alluding to it there, where supposedly this mural is supposed to exist. And, the Zent market and the ghettos there are pretty infamous and easy to find. And this particular market is housed in an abandoned warehouse. It's in the middle of these ghettos. And they've been converted into a series of stalls. The otherwise shunned and neglected Zents conduct their business here, and they operate small workshops. There's kind of some outsiders, that'll stand out, but nobody's truly refused here. Of course, their coin most certainly would not be. And the wood of this massive warehouse has gone pretty gray with age. Many of the roof's shingles are peeling away, and its walls lean ominously inward. However, despite that, it's pretty lively inside. The hucksters inside are haggling. You hear nearly a dozen languages spilling forth over dubious quality of goods and origin and number of ramshackle stalls. You hear the clucks and cries of caged fowl as they're roughly handled. And you hear the grinding of an edge into a rust-marked blade as a journeyman blacksmith works his trade. At the far end, however, it's unmistakable to see how one gray wall has been painted with a mural that reaches to the sagging rafters. At a distance, the details are not quite visible, but it's unmistakable to see the huge whirls of vividly painted flame bringing color to the dingy interior of the market.
Well, can I particularly look for that brooch that has been cited in all the paintings that have had influence on people?
So you want to go walk up and take a look at the mural?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get kind of some awkward looks from the vendors and customers there. No one really appraises you too much. Seems like they're a bit suspicious of you. Perhaps some agents of the City Watch here to bust their borderline illegal behaviors. But as you get closer to the actual mural, you see that there's actually been small shrines of candles and blackened kindling set out on the tables here. The merchants, they have some stalls that sit right beneath the massive painting, and they seem to be setting these little displays up themselves. And when they're not helping buyers, you see them just turn and stare up at the rendering of a city in flames with the slack-jawed expression of wonder on their faces. Their eyes just slowly weave back and forth, mesmerized over the incredibly minute details. And the city that I speak of seems to bear striking similarities to the one you're in, Mulemaster. However, it burns with a small detailed fire consuming each building. People spill out into the streets wrapped in flames, but the exacting details of their faces reveal a look more of ecstasy rather than pain or terror. Even the waves washing against the piers are ablaze, as if they're coated in the top of some sort of oil. The merchants see you kind of appraise it, and one in particular, an old crony-looking woman, is more than excited to speak with you about it. She says, "Nah, you boys aren't any kind of narcs, are ya?"
No, we're not. We've heard that this painting's mesmerizing and it's got some fighting passion to it, doesn't it?
Alright, well, I don't mean no disrespect, but we'll be watching out for them City Watch type fellas, but something seems a little different about ya. Seems to be a little kooky if even before this painting arrived, but she says, I knew y'all just fine appraisers of art. Look, rumor has it some young man named Andric has put it up, but no one saw him do it. I did see a paint-spattered man that one day, speaking to some old weird bald guy. They were pointing over to this wall right above my stall. I mean, how could I not notice it? We're a bit, paranoid of new people. They pointing at me. I point at you. Well, anywho, I kind of crept up to see what they was on about, because why they pointing at my stall? I had to know. And I heard that that paint-spattered man kind of get approached by some wealthy-looking fella who said, what was it? He said, he'd pay completely to see him realize his vision. Now, I'm wishing he'd say that to me. I'm trying to get a brick and mortar shop, am I right? She gets uncomfortably close to Vilhasa, and she's like, am I right? And like gives you a big old slap on the back.
Yeah, you seem to be working hard. Where's the yourself?
These fine dolls I make out of clay, and I bake them up and paint them up, and some say they're kind of creepy, but I think they're kind of cool. The older ladies and Mole Master seem to start a little collection of them, in fact. Look at this one. It's a little goat.
Okay. It's not flammable, is it?
You just put it up on a shelf or something, and careful, they're fragile. Look at this one. It's a little baby angel, and it's like one. Yeah, what did you find on Grandma's glass shelf? Porcelain little figures and things. It'll catch on, I promise. But look, this ain't about me. I mean, a lady always is willing to talk about herself, but I gotta ask you. My wife gonna throw a shoe at me. She says, "Look, I hadn't seen any of these folks since this thing got painted up, but." Well, no, I guess that's not true. That bald fella, he does make an appearance every so often, but boy, he sure is odd. I thought it was a little weird at first, but then I can't help but wonder myself. He came up and asked me, and he's wondering how this art made me feel, and how I feel about just how we're treated here in the city. And I don't know how those things are supposed to be linked, but oh man, I mean, we're not treated too great, and I mean, I do feel a bit of a passion rise in me, I must say. And look at this thing, isn't it wonderful?
Yes, yes it is. Yeah. So this is out of character. Do I see that brooch that has been repeatedly shown in all of his paintings anywhere in this entire mural? Or is it just off the city burning on fire? Like no one's wearing anything in particular to showcase that brooch or anything like that?
It looks like in this you do not see any indication of the brooch.
Huh. Well,
And then as the conversation kind of trails off with this elderly lady, she just turns and she's staring up at this just wide painting before you of the whole city ablaze. And without even fully realizing it, you can tell she just mutters out, "I'd love to see the whole city ablaze." And then she just like listlessly kind of like wanders off back to her stall, and you see her working on a new little doll, and instead of these cheery, cute little things that she's been making, this one's like a little guy like a blaze, but with the look of pure bliss on his face. And you're like, whew.
well, yeah, as long as it's fragile and not flammable. Right, brother. We might have to go see this person that is in charge of the artist.
And so with kind of the information you've been given here and a little bit more digging, you obviously recognized, the wealthy men that she described as being Doral, and you've kind of understand that he's an artisan. You kind of find yourself here after you leave this area at the end of your investigation in this part, and you feel confident enough to kind of put your heads together, especially if you take a trip back to the Goss family and kind of give them the information you found. They could tell you of a glass blower shrine that's in town. Not sure, no one's really too familiar with this dude, but it appears that it's the final lead that you have is this kind of wealthy individual, and seeing how everything he may be connected to things here.
Might as well check it out then.
And on his shop, we are going to go over here. So let's see. Let me see real quick.
Stop for a nice picnic on the way.
All right. Okay. So you guys start to make your way through Mole Master. Perhaps a little quieter this time. You guys are pretty chummy and have probably been enjoying each other's company this whole time on this kind of strange but ever increasingly dangerous sounding mission. And now your mind is just full of these details and wondering what awaits you. So you kind of pick your way back to where you've been indicated for this shrine. And as you approach it, the day kind of wears on slightly. You can see that, through your machinations from today and finalizing everything you need to know, that the day's drifted on and dusk approaches. And as you walk up towards the shop there, you see that there's a strange sort of ceremony beginning to take place. And a shockingly frigid wind yanks cold spray from the crashing waves not too far off from where you're at. These worshippers you see around this kind of pyre of sorts, a tower made of driftwood and other things. They seem to be wrapped in heavy cloaks, and they're shivering despite their fervor. And there's quite a few people here, over 4 dozen men and women. They're igniting torches, and seems like they're preparing to cast them into this precarious tower of driftwood the moment the sun disappears beneath the horizon. And as you kind of watch on, curious of what move to make or how to approach the situation, you see that the moment they're waiting for arrives, and a volley of burning wood sails through the air. The driftwood tower there immediately catches and crackles above the din of the sea. The flames first climb to its top, 40 feet in the air, then rise even higher in a coiling red tornado that lashes against the sky. Worshippers of Talos around you begin to chant and frantically whip their bodies in circles as they parade around the tower of blazing wood that already starts to sway in the wind. You guys can make me a perception check, if you don't mind.
$12.
12 seems to be our number.
Yep.
So you just see them just throw these torches into the tower there, and as you kind of curious as to what means this is all about, you kind of match up a physical description of one individual in particular, and it seems as if this is probably Doral, from what you've learned. And if you'll make me a quick perception check on him.
9.
Vilhassa with the 12. The 12 wouldn't do it on the first one, but the 12 does do it on this one, as you see that this individual is wearing a brooch, and it seems to be the one that you are having an eye towards, in fact, Vilhassa, this whole time. It seems as if Doral and the cultists are waiting patiently for something after they all kind of throw their torches in, and they're just kind of standing there, eagerly eyes cast into the flames. What would you guys like to do?
Valorous will look over his shoulder across Mole Master's city skyline, see if there's smoke rising from like clear signs of thick smoke coming from any building anywhere.
At this point, you don't really feel or see or hear any other kind of commotion in the town around you other than what's going on in front of you.
Oh, should we, guess we might as well approach and go talk to the guy.
Mingle with the crowd?
Or at least approach these worshippers, see if they acknowledge our presence at all, and Valorous will, not aggressively or anything, but he will start walking towards the worshippers and he's walking forward until somebody, calls out to him or challenges him or something.
So you push your way through the crowd until you hit this main tower here, and I had some things hidden there. Boop. There's the tower, and you kind of find yourself in the inner circle of what's going on here.
So are we on a different map?
No. This is over to the far right.
Oh, there. Okay, I see it now.
Yeah, yes. You guys were a little on top of it almost. But let me.
Okay.
Here's some cultists. There's actually one underneath you, Valorous.
Oh, it's there.
That's the main dude
Okay.
too. There, as you see these cultists there, and they're kind of surrounding the pyre, and you get closer. You approach Doral, and he kind of holds his arms wide before you, and almost a little deranged. He kind of cries out, "We have more who want to witness what will happen. It won't be much longer now. Stand with me, brothers, and watch. They will be hatching any minute."
I'm sorry, what will be hatching?
And you almost kind of hear like a crackle as you look into the fire, and you see a little globe. You're not sure whenever they would have done this, but it appears that they have, whenever they were putting those torches in, they had thrown in a couple of these just little orbs as well. And you can kind of see one there in the flames. Doral cries
What's
out,
supposed to come out of the orbs?
and "Stand back! Witness before us a beautiful, beautiful thing. As long as you do not interfere, you will not be any harm to us. Witness before you. The change will we enact." Anything you want to do there?
Do we have any idea what these orbs are?
So as you kind of look on in horror, and since you guys had missed the first check to see them and didn't immediately jump here to do anything, you suddenly realize these are most definitely eggs, and he'd said attached to or whatever. And as you look on in horror, perhaps a creature that you may not quite recognize depending on your adventures up to this point, but a kind of elongated serpent-like being that seems to be made and wreathed in like living flames. Cracks and pokes and removes itself from the flames. It is a fire snake, to those that would recognize it, and it kind of just gains life. And as it does so, the cultists around you begin to clap and cheer, and Doral himself is, "Aha! The end of Mulemaster is nigh! With the help of this, our new pet, our idol, we will enact the change we seek in the name of the Cult of the Flames!" And everyone just starts going crazy. The fire creature here starts to rise up in the flames and just belches some forth as you realize you're in the midst of some chaos. As they start to take up arms, light torches and things of that nature, and prepare to probably do nothing harmful to the city. But what are you guys going to do?
They're peacefully protesting. I've seen this.
He's like, let's just
Alright.
keep watching and see what happens.
I'm curious to see where they're going with this. I mean, if it were any other city, I might have issues, but Mulemaster kinda fucking sucks. No, okay.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, Valorous will kind of like give Vil a look, and he starts like reaching for his blades, like kind of giving him a look like, I think we should fight these guys. And at this point, yeah, I mean, unless Vil gives him some signal not to, Val is gonna go ahead and try to attack the cult leader right next to him if he can.
All right, so let's just roll for some initiative.
All right.
Alrighty, let me. Roll some initiative. What's your dex there, Vilasa?
Yeah, +2.
Okay, roll me a d20, I guess, real quick for a time. I got a 10. No bonus or anything.
7.
Okay.
Wait,
so,
what? The 7, yeah.
Alright. Here, I'll just give him a 15 then. So we'll put it in the right spot. Man, these guys rolled decently enough on initiative as we're already grabbing their arms and roaring and ready to go cause some mayhem, and we're most definitely ready. Even the fire snake is pretty ready too. Sheesh. So this is scaled down a bit. I think we got a level 4 and a level 2, so we'll kind of judge how it goes. And I mean, if we have to kind of work something out so it's not just an instant TPK or whatever, that may not even happen, but just I'm never gonna be too cruel whenever we're on a limited party, but let's just see what happens. Maybe I don't even need to say that, as the fire snake will jump into action here, and it seems to be grateful for the life it's given and ready to do its duties as it lashes forward with its bite and its tail there towards Valorous, and the bite will be an 11.
Miss.
And the tail will be a 10. So he misses both times there.
Oh, look, he's playing.
Just a little baby. And now it's your turn to play back.
Alright, Valorous will pretty effortlessly just draw both his blades out. And rather than focus on the fire snake for right now, he's actually going to focus on the cult leader right next to him. And he's going to use his action to make his attack. 22 to hit.
Nails him. Kind of holds up a flame-shaped scimitar to defend, but is unable to as you do your 10 slashing to him.
And hold on, a little bit more than that. I'm also going to spend a superiority die to activate tripping attack. So he takes 16 total slashing damage, and he has to make a strength saving throw against my DC.
All right. Let me roll it. Strength save. I think he will save. 15.
Oh, you got over a 14? 15? Yeah, okay.
And so you lash out with a mighty attack against him there, doing some crippling damage. And as he kind of crumples down, his red robes there are now splashed ever more crimson as he kind of looks up, and blood just leaking from his mouth. And he's like, Who are you?
And Valorous will just grin. I'm the guy that got hired to get some vengeance for that inn you burnt down the other night. And bonus action, he attacks with his second longsword. 21 to hit.
That hits him. Okay,
And
I'll admit I gave him a bump there because I wanted him to try to pump off one attack at least, but I can't deny it. If you're gonna nail him with the second, that definitely would push him over. And so he kind of spits out a gob of blood onto the ground, and he's like, "This city will be in flames with or without me." As you just cut him down, and his head goes lolling off, his cultist mask there askew, tongue lolling out, blood spraying all around you, as he is most certainly dead.
Alright, in that case, honestly, I didn't think that I was going to kill him in one turn. Alright, I will action surge, and I will make one more action, and I will attack the fire snake in front of me.
Okay.
So, does a 15 hit?
So one more time, how you had the second attack from what?
I'm dual wielding. So the second attack was my bonus
Okay,
action.
so that's your that is a feat. Gotcha. Okay, nice. All right, now a 15 to hit the snake. Let me double check. Will hit.
Alright. Just for the heck of it, I do have Savage Attacker as my the feat I got for level 4, so I'll just roll to see if I get higher. Okay, so 10 slashing. And then let me check to see if Menacing Attack adds some damage. It does. I will spend one more superiority die on that. So 15 slashing damage to the fire snake, and I think it has to make a wisdom saving throw, because I'm using Menacing Attack this time.
Okay, so that
Yep,
was
wisdom saving throw.
1 attack or 2?
It was 1 attack. I have Savage Attacker, so I can try to reroll damage on 1 attack per turn. But first attack was higher, so 10 plus 5 from superiority die, so 15 total slashing.
Okay, so as your blade sinks in, it does a pretty effective blow. You can see it's like slightly resistant to your attack. However, as you retreat to get ready for the next one, you feel the searing heat from this column of flame, as well as the creature there. Let me see real quick. I think. Hey. Okay, so you'll take some fire damage. You can tell it's kind of a little worse just for the fact that this thing is in the column of flames, and that'll be six total fire back at you from that blow, and then
And then it has to make a wisdom saving throw.
then the wisdom save, maybe I think against a 14. So unless it's straight 14 is what I got.
Meets beats, so it passes.
Okay, fire snake from hell.
Okay, and that ends my turn.
Okay. All right, so you hear some gasps of like, "Oh, Doral, he's fallen. Who will lead us now?" And one kind of stands up over here next to Vil, and he's like, "I will. I was waiting for my chance to rise to power." He will turn, scimitar raised, ready to lash out. Gonna try to do his best against you there, Vil. As he has a... Oh, man. Okay, this might... I'm gonna make this somewhat difficult, as I rolled a 20. Okay, so that's gonna be some slashing damage to you. You are not raging yet.
Nope.
So it'll be 8 slashing, sorry. 8 slashing to you as he kind of lashes out in retaliation of his fallen leader. You and your friend will pay. I'm the new leader. Here. This guy will... So there's a house there, though. That kind of... I can go 5, 10. I guess he could go 15 here. And even... As he'll run over here so he's not standing on the body of his fallen comrade. Let me see about this guy. He'd go 5, 10, 15, 20. And then, considering that difficult terrain, I guess he could get here. So they could both kind of run around. I guess one of them is forced to take another swipe here at Vil. This time it is only a 14, but that will hit you.
That'll hit.
Not a crit though or anything, so just one. Looks like 3 slashing to you there from this cultist. And then this other guy is going to take an attempt at Valorous. Looks like a 12. No, a 13, which will miss. Or you have a sweet parry there, as it were. Big guy is dead, so I'll take him off of there. And then Vilhasa, this guy just came up and stabbed you. And then the other guy came up and stabbed you. You're mad, I know it.
Yeah, we were going together with you. Then suddenly turn around. And I will slash at the first guy that hit me. Might as well. I just go reckless.
Oh, so close. 25 to hit.
Nice. You connect for
15 slashing.
And that's actually twice as much HP as he even has. If you want to give it a little flare there.
Yeah, no, as I slash him, that was not what was intended. And then looks at the guy that slashed me in. Do you want that fate for you? And Michael.
Valorous, the rage pouring off of your friend here is even hotter than the flames licking at your backside. As we'll go back to the top with this fire snake feller. He's going to kind of still be hanging out here where he feels safe and warm and toasty, like he's still in mama's egg. And he'll viciously lash out, though, with his bite in his tail. Dang, that's a different dice. Second crit, though, as he comes with a 13 on a bite, which is a miss, but tries to follow it up with a tail attack. And that will do... Let's see. So first it does 9 fire damage. Sheesh, this guy's like the boss right here. I didn't know such a little guy could be so unruly. I'll do 9 fire and 6 bludgeoning together.
Okay.
Okay, and that's it for it. As you just feel scorched, almost like a burned a hole through your armor, and now you can react to that if you so choose.
Okay, Valorous will actually focus on this guy up north of him that tried to swing, and he will make his first attack against him.
Oh my gosh!
That's
Return
it.
fire, baby.
And I'm spending a superiority die on that for a sweeping attack, which means that crit will also carry on to the second guy. So,
Putting those dice to use. So he is dead.
and then the second guy will take 9 slashing from the sweeping attack maneuver.
He is also dead. They're not the girthiest of foes.
All right. Rather than make my second attack with my bonus action, instead I will spend my second wind and restore some hit points.
Okay.
And get 10 hit points back. No, I will end my turn there.
All right. Cultist gone. Velasa.
Takes a step forward, looks at these. Ah, you stupid beast! Tries to grapple it to pull it out of the bloody flame.
Okay. So, yeah. First we'll make that contested check. Ooh, shoot. Not good for me.
22.
Definite success. As you grapple it and try to wrench it on out of there, of course you'll take this might be the downside here, and I know it's hard that you don't have as much HP or whatever, because there you get some damage from its heated body, which is going to be 6, but you also will get some damage from sticking your hands into this flaming pillar, so it's going to be an additional 4. I'm sorry, man.
And I'm down.
And so as you wrench it and pull it out, here, I'll give you this, as with your fall there, you're able to kind of, I'll just move this other dead guy out of the way. You kick his body aside, you wrench the thing out in one last Herculean effort, and then you fall down as you succumb to your burn wounds. However, you did pull the creature out of its hiding place, which will make it easier for
Nice.
Valorous. Alright, so we'll go to the creature itself as it moves right. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be messed up, right?
Goes back in. Oh yeah, that
If
makes
I was
sense.
if I was playing more tactically, I probably would do that. But there's only 2 of y'all, so that wouldn't be nice.
Okay.
But it does have a couple attacks it'll throw towards Val. Looks like a 13 and a 16, so both of those will miss. It got out of the fire. That was its saving grace there. And now we'll go to Valorous herself as you realize that some danger here, and Vilhasa is downed.
Right. Gotta try to finish this thing up fast, so, Phil can go at least one turn, and as long as this thing doesn't attack him, so, first attack and make a swing. 24 to hit.
Yeah, it hits.
And he will use his last superiority die on another attempt at a tripping attack.
Okay, so he'll do the 12, which is pretty significant.
16 total, actually,
And
because
then,
superior dice added.
So where that would have killed it, you could feel that with your, less than magical attack, it's not quite enough, but now it's a lot closer. You will take 2 fire damage in return.
Okay. And then it has to make its strength saving throw against my trap attempt.
Just the map I used. Oh, he did good on this one. Sorry for the noise. 18. Oops.
Okay, yeah, he's not knocked prone then.
She got squished by something on accident. Oopsie.
And
Okay,
then,
so no prone, but we've got to follow it up with another one.
Yep, bonus action, one last attack. I'm out of superiority dice, so it's just going to be a straight attack, nothing extra going at.
Nice.
And because I'm a savage attacker, I can roll twice and pick the higher one, so I think 13 slashing damage on
Okay, so he
that crit.
he will go down. You will take 1 fire damage in return.
Okay.
And I think for the sake of this next part, it would kind of launch directly into it. But since there's only 2 of us and one of you is down and we gotta make some accommodations, of course. So it's just not impossible.
I have a potion of healing.
So if
I
you'll
can use on
use
my
that
next round, if
potion,
matters.
I'll give you guys a short rest.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
He needs to at least have 1 hit point anyway to get advantage from the short rest. So,
So if you'll use that, that'll you'll regain 7 already, and then if you want to roll either of your 2 hit die, and then of course Val, I think you'll get like your superiority die back and other things.
And everything else I used.
Yeah, so which is good. You'll need it because there's still one last scene to play out. You quickly realize after you pick yourselves up, a grim nod as you realize like this fun foray into Mole Master is starting to get a little more grim, and you need to watch your backs, and you most certainly will watch each other's, and you know that time is going to come to be very soon, but you do have time to pick over Doral real quick. He's got quite a bit of jewelry on him. Of course, he has that item that I'll show off to you. That's going to be the magic item for the adventure. Don't really have time to use it now, I don't think, because it requires attunement. I know over that 1 hour short rest you could have attuned to it, but for the sake of it, we'll say you wouldn't have had time there. I have a phone going off next to me. What the heck? Sorry, my bad. I got lost there. I'm going to just pop this up to you guys, and of course I'll have a session log for y'all and all that. But you find a brooch of shielding that is kind of specifically designed in this flame motif. It looks like a flaming paintbrush, and every so often you hear a mad cackling. Isn't that strange? And of course, as a normal brooch of shielding, you'll get resistance, force damage, immunity to magic missile spells. I'll just show that to y'all one more time in case you didn't. And then so of course I'll put that at the end. One second. Good. I don't know how to turn this off.
Swipe down, just like our phones.
Here. My son's phone. He's got some other phone over here and something just going off on it. But all right, cool. So I will clear the list here. You guys kind of pick that jewelry up, knowing that some of it you'll be able to sell for probably over 100 gold, as Doral was making his own jewelry, and you think after his name gets spread around in Mole Master for these events, you'll probably be able to sell these for a prettier penny than before, as people are always into that macabre stuff. But let's move on to the last part of our adventure here today. Moving through it in pretty good time on this one. That's what happens with less people, and honestly, the combat in this is just not the focus, so it's easy to kind of move through some of it. But we're not done yet, as you kind of start to move on, wondering the last piece of this puzzle would be Andric himself, and even kind of some of Doral's last words kind of echo in your mind of how he's saying that, Mole Master shall burn, and it's too late. And to kind of put the exclamation point on this, you all of a sudden start to hear some shouts, and you see the clouds above you start to trace with flickering orange flames. There's a glow of a fire kind of starts to erupt on the other side of town, and you begin to make your way towards it, and the cries of terror and crashing sounds of splintering wood and grinding stone get louder and louder. People begin to be rushing past you to flee this hellish glow of whatever's burning up ahead of you. And eventually you round a tall building and see a handful of figures dashing through the streets. They look to be shaped by man, but... I'm sorry, that's a weird way to say that. But they look to be like humanoid in shape, but appear to be made of like a red-hot glass painted in vibrant colors. As they dance down the street, they leave globs of this molten glass just spitting, fuming, and smoking on the street behind them. Running alongside these creatures and positioning himself nice to a nice little table there, a man begins to paint. As soon as one of these creatures comes behind him, he'll put his paintbrush thoughtfully out of his mouth and touch it to his palate and return back to his art and these figures, completely heedless of all the burning and chaos going around him. These are some magmen creatures that are kind of just running around and laying waste. I'm going to push you guys about over here, and let me see.
20 minutes, starting now.
As you run up, these creatures are kind of just jumping around and dancing before what almost appears to be their creator, which could only be Andric. Let's go ahead and just roll into initiative then, as I'm sure you want to put
All right.
a stop to this as fast as you can. And Andric he just seems to be like almost deranged as he like doesn't even meet your gaze and continues to try to paint. He has a canvas before him, and also he'll just dip his paint onto these magmens too, running behind him, and he just screams, "The flames! I paint the pretty flames!" as the olive mole master starts to burn before you. Looks like you got y'all's initiatives. I will get theirs on there. All right.
Realize he rushes out after the cover. Cease this nonsense, you little runt!
Dink! Time to put an end to this. Alright, let me see. Alright. So, Andric just cackles and screams in madness as he's kind of got his tongue stuck out of the corner of his mouth, and he's clearly just brushing like mad on this canvas. The creatures around him cackle in excitement and glee and even pleasure as he dips his paintbrush on them periodically. And then they turn to you as the interlopers on their scene. They would like no interruption in their merry making, as it were. They will. I'll have for the bigger guy here. We'll have him take a couple. So they'll dance around. Oh, I want to do it like this actually. They all rush forward, completely surrounding Vilasa as you feel this heat pouring onto you, wondering why, oh why would they all target me? This is some cruel ploy from a crazy god overhanging us. Why would they do that? I'm only level 2. This is savage. And somehow your plea is heard as two of them turn towards Valorous and try to touch upon him. Looks like they will miss with the highest being a 16. And then one of them does turn towards you and says, well, in a strange language you may not understand, don't think you got away from this one, bye. As he will reach forward and try to touch you as well. With only a 12, though, he will miss. Not good.
That is my AC. No.
Oh, it is your AC. My bad. Oh, okay. Well, he touches you. Looks like that will do some fire damage. Since that's the name of the game for this adventure. Looks like 7. And you ignite. Anything you're carrying and kind of just your body in general starts to catch on to fire as you feel those burns kind of licking at you. And we'll go to Valorous.
Okay, well, Valorous will, I guess he'll focus on the more southern one down here.
Okay.
He'll make his first attack against that one. 23 to hit.
Nice. Doing good.
Right, and then, I'm definitely using Savage Attack to reroll. Didn't help. Alright, so 7 slashing, and then I'm going to make I'm going to try a trip attack maneuver on him to try and knock him prone. So he takes 11 total slashing damage, and he has to make a strength saving throw.
Okay. And so where your damage normally would kill him, you could see how he seems to be somewhat resistant, but he ends up on a strength save made a 13, which will be under.
Yep, that fails. He is knocked prone.
Okay, he is prone.
And then for my second attack, for bonus action attack, I will attack him again.
Got that advantage.
19 to hit.
And it does, for sure.
Oh, all right. For 8 more slashing.
Okay, and even with his resistance there, it's not enough to keep him alive as he, gives way under your pressure. But as he does so, he suddenly just explodes in a burst of fire and magma, and everyone within 10 feet needs to make a dex save. The magmen won't really be affected by this. However, just threw a die. Andric will be affected by this, so he'll have to roll as well. Looks like both of you will fail. Actually, nope. Vilasa, you will succeed. It's DC 11. Might as well say it since you hit it on the head. So you succeed. You'll take half damage. Looks like for Andric failed as well, though. He's just a commoner too, so he may got himself into a bit of a pickle here. But anyways, let me roll that damage. Ooh, looks like only 4 total. So Valorous, you will take 4 damage, but you are now ignited onto flames. You will take 2 damage, Vilasa. You're already ignited, so it didn't matter. And then Homeboy over here will take the 4. He seems to be bloodied by that, and he's also ignited too. As this guy's no longer with us.
All right, and then Valorous for his movement will move around this Magman guy here, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And he will go ahead and use his action surge. And he will attack the one north of Vilasa. With a 20 to hit, and he will spend a superiority die for a sweeping attack. So the first attack, 5 slashing to the first guy, and then the second guy will take 3 slashing.
Okay. So how much was it to the first guy? I'm sorry.
It was 5 to the first guy.
Okay.
Yeah, it should say 7 attacker for that. Oh well.
And then 3 to the other guy. Gotcha.
Correct.
Okay. They seem to be relatively... hurts, but they're alive.
Yeah, alright, in turn.
Okay. So, Vilasa, you are ablaze. And so at the start of your turn... no. It is at the end of your turn. And I'll just tell you, you can use your action to douse the flames, but of course that's going to take your action. So you can do whatever, but you are on fire.
That would have worked with 2 of these creatures. Arr! Get out of the way! Slashers. This one got hit quite a bit already, right? I hit it that way.
He's like, I know I may fall, but I'm going to go in a blaze of glory, and you'll pick me back up, right, bud?
Sure. Yeah, just kill the things. I got another potion. We're fine.
Okay, you nail him, dude. You kind of set your teeth, a grim look in your eyes as you bring that great axe home, knowing what may await you, even with a success.
17.
There's no amount of resistance that's going to help him there as he succumbs to that. I think that's my token one, so I'll save him. But he explodes in a shower of flames. Looks like this time Andric will not be affected by this, but the other 2 of you will. Vilasa saves. Get that dex save from Valorous, you fail, so it'll be... I'm rolling low on these. So 6 to Valorous. And 3
okay.
3 to Vilasa.
Alright, now I'll roll that 5.
And then I'll roll that 5 for you. It looks like 3 more to you from just being on fire.
Okay. End of turn.
Alright. Andric kind of runs over and back just a little, and he will use an action to douse the flames so he does not die. And that'll be his turn. And then we'll go to the flamed creature here. I guess it will turn towards Valorous, seeing that the flames in general might take out the other fellow. One last, hopefully, attempt to balance the field. It reaches forward, trying to grasp upon you. Looks like a 14 is not going to do it, though, as they
That's a miss.
cannot breach your defenses. And now it is your turn to clap back.
All right, I will use my DM Inspiration for an advantage as I attack him.
Okay. Cool. It pays to be
21.
on time.
And I will spend a superiority die on this to make a tripping attack. So he takes 14 total slashing damage, and then he has to make a strength saving throw.
Okay, so he's barely alive, making the save. Looks like he's going to save with a 17.
Okay, not knocked prone then. Alright. Second attack with my bonus action, so another swing. You hit?
An 18 will hit. That might be the end of him here.
Alright, for 11 slashing, do I think he needs a little bit more than that? Or
No, because
I can put a-
yeah, he just explodes after that. That'll be the end of him. I will need the
All right.
dex saves from you both.
Dex save.
Velasa saves. Valorous doesn't. Dude, I'm rolling so many ones on this one, but it'll be 6 again. So 6 to Val, 3 to Vil.
1 HP.
As he explodes in fire, Homeboy had moved just out of range with that. He dies, of course. It looks like the... I guess I'll leave it up to say... Okay, so Valorous, anything else for your turn there?
Valorous will move up to this guy, basically prepare to keep fighting if he does anything, but he'll end his turn there, and he is ignited, so I think he takes, what is it, a D6 fire, or...
So you'll take the 4 fire, yep.
4 more fire. And yep, that's the end of my turn.
Nice, okay. Alright, Vil, what would you like to do on your turn? As you feel the life draining from your body.
Put the fire off.
Okay, and so it comes back around. You save yourself from an imminent death. You kind of surround this madman, and as the danger of the situation kind of leaves, you see Andric kind of deflate a bit. He was just completely lost in the reverie of his art, but as it's now been destroyed and he's been foiled, he kind of just deflates into himself, and you can even just see how whatever strange abilities had been possessing him in his art have seemed to kind of left him. He doesn't resist you guys in any way, and you're able to do whatever you want with him in this moment.
Well, Valorous will spend his action to douse the flames on himself, and since he has a bonus action, he'll second wind there.
Okay, and I'll go ahead and tell you. I had to make some. I took away. Let's see on that one. I should have removed 2 of those guys actually, and only removed 1 because I figured y'all could take it, and y'all did. So I even reduced it a little bit. So honestly, that was fun, and it was still challenging enough to where you had some danger and everything, but it wasn't too challenging to where we had to be like, oh fuck, everyone just died. But you guys had cleared through that quite easily through your subterfuge, force of character, and of course here in the end your sheer power and willingness to put yourself in harm's way to get the job done. Definitely a special kudos for that. You guys are you going to wait around here for a minute, or do you what's your next move at this point?
I feel like we should probably I think we should bring him back to his family, and fill in the full report of everything that's happened to the people that hired us.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of grab him and leave the scene before the City Watch will get involved, and you feel like you're doing the right thing by taking him back to his uncle's. And Fulton assures you, this must have been some deeper meaning behind all this, and that we learned a little more. The cult of the Eternal Flame seems to be really truly behind it, that wicked Doral Sire. But you've put an end to all this, and for that you'll be rewarded. It seems as if you've also exonerated Kata, and I will make a formal apology towards Erdun, and perhaps even make a donation in the repair of the Wave and the Wink. Hopefully I'm not to blame. I mean, in all my greatness and glory, I'm still but a human, and, I don't make mistakes very often, but I'll admit I perhaps jumped the gun, but I was very distraught over my wife. I promise you, we'll keep Andric here. He will be held on permanent house arrest.
Well, as long as there's some kind of punishment, I guess. See that there's some reformation. Right, we need to go find that inn guy. He also said he'd give us 50 gold for clearing his wife's name, so...
All right, and as we kind of conclude here, and you kind of clean up and stuff, there's like just a bit of a. It almost reminds me of those like, here they are later, like the end credits of an old show or something. But over the next like couple days, you kind of get some closure over the events that happened in the sense of where, the word reaches the City Watch about the actions that you did and the discovery of the cult of elemental evil there that was kind of trying to burn the whole town down. And it looks like, of course, Erdun and Fulton were both satisfied with what you did, so they'll both give you that gold stipend. There'll be some helpful allies potentially to come. Andric was not killed, although he was burned pretty significantly. He remains to be a little bit insane after this happened, but his artistry no longer creates the magical effects it once did, now that his quote-unquote greatest work has been completed. His over time, his talent kind of just completely leaves him, and he's despondent and, for the time being, without purpose. So we will end there. You guys have got the 10 downtime, the optional level. You got that Brooch of Shielding, and you will get some gold. It looks like you...
Okay.
You have the 20 gold from the ring. You got Doral's jewelry and also both your rewards, which comes out to 400. So, let's see. I think because he left even before you guys had went to had talked to those spies, right?
Yeah.
So
That's what
Yeah.
they told us.
I probably just won't tag him on the session logs, and I'll just be like, hey, you honestly only would have gained in a downtime and a level if you wanted it. So whether you want to mark that on your sheet or not is up to you, but I'll just leave that up. And I'll just tag you guys in that main thing, because you guys got 400 divided by 2, so that'll be 200 gold each.
200? Okay.
Not a bad little penny for a tier 1 adventure. Of course, I've been streaming. Looks like we hit about 3 hours on the head for that. If you want to record that on your document, you still need to. It happens with scheduling sometimes. I definitely am not going to take it too personally, and the show must always go on. I'm always going to, as long as we got 2, shoot, I can do it. And I hope you guys thought this was fun. I definitely liked it.
It is kind of funny we ended up with a fighter and a barbarian doing like all the detective work in the town. It's like, I don't think we're the right classes for this.
I was considering maybe I should have changed to my bard. He'd be much more helpful.
I mean, y'all did miss a couple details here and there, but not enough to stall you, obviously. And, hey, I mean, shoot, y'all passed through here with flying colors, I'd say. I can see where in those combats, it really was just a matter of roles. Like, if you would have missed a couple times and I would have, saved a couple times or whatever, it could have easily, turned the tides, So, you guys won fair and square on that one. I can't really say too much against a probably pretty tough force, You guys don't even have a magic weapon really at this point, So it's
Right, yeah.
yeah, it was cool. It's honestly so relieving to have that limitation, because almost every other time in these games, these creatures are stunned, because it just doesn't matter anymore. You're like, fuck, I gotta double the HP just so it matters still or whatever. But yeah, that was cool. Good use of your battle master techniques as well.
When I originally built this guy, I was thinking, yeah, I'll just make him a champion, be straightforward. I